This is ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
Hello and welcome to Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and the 2009 International Bowl. Today, two teams with similar paths will play in front of thousands of their faithful fans inside the Rogers Centre. The UConn Huskies will look to their playmaker, Donald Brown, to help them gain some ground on a season that has all but gotten away down the stretch. Standing in their way, Turner Gill and the Buffalo Bulls, a team whose journey this season has been one for the ages. But for all they've done this season, just taking the field today will hold more meaning than any of them could have imagined. Welcome, everyone, to the Great White North in the third annual International Bowl. We have a matchup today from the Big East and the Mid-American Conference. The Buffalo Bulls traveling just down the highway to face the Huskies of Connecticut from here in the Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And welcome, everyone. John Saunders alongside of Doug Flutie and Jesse Palmer. I, of course, was born and raised right here in Toronto. This guy, 6 times the MVP of the Canadian Football League, won his first Grey Cup right here on this field, first of a few. And Jesse Palmer, of course, former quarterback for Florida, former quarterback for the New York Giants, and also born and raised right here in Canada. So we're doing the Canadian style. Meanwhile, as we look at the Connecticut Huskies, they're going to have to get things done on the ground.
Right. It starts with Donald Brown. There's no question about it. He has been the focal point of this UConn offense. In fact, he's run for 1,822 yards so far this year. That leads the Football Bowl subdivision, and because of it, was named 2008 Big East Offensive Player of the Year. When you watch him on tape, he's got the total package: speed, toughness. He's a tough runner. He's got great vision. He's got great patience running the ball as well, and he's carried the football 339 times so far this year. So, Doug, if UConn's going to get the win today, they got to get him the football. They got to get him going early. They got to get him going often.
He is their offense, no doubt about it. When you talk about Buffalo, you start with head coach Turner Gill. He has turned this program around. They've only been a Division I team, FBS, for 10 years. They had never won more than 3 games in a season until Turner Gill arrived. 5 wins last year, 8 wins in a MAC Conference Championship this year, MAC Coach of the Year this year. Phenomenal turnaround. He does it by building relationships within his team, building young men, getting the team turned around. It's been an amazing story. He's been phenomenal for college football.
Well, both of these coaches started the season with extremely high expectations. They expected to be able to come out and put up some victories. They've done that as a result. We'll find out if they get a chance and whose year this truly will be.
Touchdown, James Starks. Donald Brown, look at him go. What a great combination of power and speed. Buffalo wins its first ever conference championship.
Their storied season with an 8-1 record and an invitation to the 12th annual Tangerine Bowl. But they later learned that the invite was not extended to everyone on the team. Their only 2 African-American players, Willie Evans and Mike Wilson, were not welcome in Orlando due to segregation laws. The team, acting together as one, decided to reject the invite. 50 years later, Willie Evans is here to watch history in the making and catch up with some very dear friends. Welcome back. Yesterday, I had a chance to shake the hand of Willie Evans, and you could see the emotion in his eyes as he earned the respect of his teammates and this year's Buffalo team. 50 years after their greatest injustice, perhaps the greatest moment now for Buffalo football. For more on this team and this year's team, let's join the 4th member of our team and another fellow Canadian, David Amber.
All right, thank you, John. Turner Gill, what a great season it's been for you. What kind of inspiration has that 1958 Buffalo team been for your team this year?
Well, they exemplified team unity. They exemplified courage. And that's what kind of University of Buffalo's been all about. And so I'm just privileged and honored to be a part of it.
You're in a unique situation. None of your players have played in a bowl game before. What have you told them what this experience is going to be like for them today?
Well, I basically have told them don't make it more than what it is, and also don't make it any less than what it is. It's still a football game. Let's go out and play our type of football game. We'll be successful.
All right, and away we go. Of course, Turner Gill, three-time champion at the University of Nebraska, looking for Buffalo's first bowl win ever today in Toronto. John?
All right, David, thanks a lot. Buffalo won the toss and will receive the football. Turner Gill. And of course, Coach Edsel of Connecticut, who has done an outstanding job. It's interesting about these programs, guys. They both went to what we formerly used to call 1A the same year, the exact same year, and they've both been extremely successful.
Yeah, they both came in. They've been in Division I now, or FBS, for 10 years. Randy's been to 2 bowls in the last 2 years, 3 in the last 5 years, and now Buffalo getting their first opportunity to bowl bid. Both programs are on the upswing.
Desi Cullen set to kick off. And we are underway again, as I said, the third annual. Millis takes the ball, busts the tackle, and gets across to the 25-yard line. 18 yards on the return. Here's a look at Drew Willie.
Drew Willie's really done an outstanding job this year taking care of the football. You see the numbers right there. 25 touchdown passes to only 5 interceptions on the season. He's been remarkable in his decision-making. He's got a lot of weapons to spread the football out to.
Starks in the backfield. Willie takes a snap. Looks out to his right. Almost picked off. Jasper Howard stepped in front of the pass that was intended for Naaman Roosevelt. Let's take a look at our impact players, guys.
Naaman Roosevelt, big-time wide receiver, could play anywhere. He's that type of athlete. He is their downfield threat. He is their big threat in the passing game. James Starks, the home run hitter at the tailback position, kind of a long, lanky, long strider guy that can take off as well. Mike Newton is just looking for something to hit coming out of the locker room.
As a matter of fact, he hit me as I was walking in today. Pitch into the backfield to Starks, and he's bottled up. That'll be a loss. Kendall Reyes got there first.
This is such a great challenge for UConn's defense today. When you talk about some of those impact players you're just talking about, Doug, and really between the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, they've set 25 different single-season career, single-game school records this year. But what we forget, this is a very good UConn defense led by Randy Edsel, 10th best in the nation in total defense.
Third down and about 12. Pass across the middle. It's complete to Starks. But he gets chased down just above the 26-yard line. Just a gain of 4. So the Buffalo will have to punt.
There you get caught in the 3rd and long situation. UConn will back off, play a lot of zone coverage in those situations. Ball dumped underneath, come up, make the tackle, force the punt.
It's going to be so critical today that UConn continues to win on 1st down to set Buffalo up in 2nd and long and 3rd and long situations.
Farden the punt. Kick is up. Howard goes over to chase it. It goes right past him. He didn't touch it, so he decides just to let it go safely. Well, that's one of those dangerous ones, guys, where it takes another bounce just the other way and gets a nick of the heel, and you don't know what happens.
Trying to save yards there and maybe scoop it up so it doesn't roll quite so far, but yeah, it's a risky little play. Made a smart decision, got the heck out of the way.
56 yards is the net on the punt. Here comes Tyler Lorenzen. He's had kind of a difficult senior year. Had a bad foot injury. Missed a lot of time. Has some problems throwing the ball this year. He says he remembers last year losing in their bowl game and seeing the seniors go out as losers, and he says he does not want to see that happen this time around. Let's take a look at the UConn impact player.
Well, again, Donald Brown, he's a first-team All-American, led the nation in rushing yards this year. He's averaging 152 yards per game. Now, at fullback, Anthony Sherman's going to be a key player because not only does he have to open holes for Donald Brown, he's also second on the team with 25 catches. And finally, Cody Brown, first-team All-Big East selection, 10 sacks. He'll be coming from the blind side of Drew Willie.
Out of the shotgun, Lorenzen keeps it and rambles out for a first down. Mike Newton with the tackle.
This is something we talked to Randy Edsall about all week long and asked him about Tyler Lorenzen and his involvement in this football game. And Randy Edsall told us, look, he's probably going to have to run the football a lot today for us to have some success.
Yeah, they put a couple more runs in for him coming into the bowl game, and his foot is fully recovered now. He's totally confident in running with the football now. So, I mean, only 2 touchdown passes all year. He better be doing something on the ground.
His foot fully recovered with a 5-inch screw in it.
Oh, yeah, a little hardware in there.
Sets off the smoke detectors or detectors at the airport.
That would be
metal detector. Well, if he gets running fast enough,
there you go.
Okay. Gets grinding, it starts to smoke.
I'll give that to you.
7-yard gain for Brown.
Just talk about the year Donald Brown has had, and again, the workhorse carrying the football 339 times on the season heading into this game, really. He's been the focal point. We talked about the struggles UConn has had throwing the football so far this year. So these guys have played games week in, week out. There's been no mystery. Teams have been loading the box against UConn, and still they've been able to get tremendous production out of Donald Brown.
And a good run there for 8 yards, so setting up second and short. And this time Lorenzen keeps it again. Remember, he's a lefty. And runs for the first down.
See, there's your changeup, right? You run the ball, hammer, hammer, hammer. You got the bootleg, and Lorenzen has caught it twice now, or pulled the ball twice and taken off around the corner.
Well, I love the decision here by Tyler Lorenzen as well, because he's looking to get the football out in the flat. When he sees this tight coverage, he just tells his receiver, look, block. I'm taking it myself. Tyler Lorenzen, a much better athlete than I think a lot of people give him credit for. When you look at him, he's big, tall, lengthy, but he can move.
2 carries for 17 yards already for Lorenzen, so if there's any question as to whether or not that foot is healed, it looks pretty good thus far. Hands it off to Brown in the backfield. He gets stopped at the line of scrimmage, but shows his power. Shows his way to muscle for 5 yards.
Just a little stutter step, throws people, bounces it back outside. Just phenomenal running back.
Well, he's very tough to bring down. He's got a lot of weapons in his arsenal when running the football. And you talk to Buffalo's players, they say the first thing they're looking out for is the great stiff arm. Randy Edsall says maybe the best stiff arm he's ever seen in a running back. Very, very difficult to bring down.
He got a little mini stiff arm in on that one. Not really a true stiff.
Alligator arm stiff arm.
Yeah, just a little touch.
And he meant it at any level, too.
Yeah.
He meant NFL or college football best stiff arm. Lorenzen back to pass, gets hit. The ball's on the ground and loose. No indication yet, not even from the players, which are usually the quickest. No, and UConn will keep the ball. Lott knocked the ball loose.
But this is something that Buffalo can do defensively. They can create turnovers. Sherrod Lott, he's a cornerback playing in the slot. Tyler Lorenzen never sees him coming. And again, you go back to the MAC championship game, a game in which Buffalo beat then 12th ranked undefeated Ball State. They forced 5 huge turnovers in that game. This is a defense that can fly around, try to confuse you, as you saw they were able to do right there.
And generally, when they force turnovers, they're going for a score. They're not just going for the turnover. Lorenzen in the pocket. There's a flag back there in the backfield, possibly for holding. Completes the pass to Kanyu. 7 yards on that pickup.
That's a good point, John. They scoop and score. They practice it. They preach it. They start every practice with it. They start every meeting with it. Finish every practice and meeting with it. They make their big plays on defense. You talk about 5 turnovers against Ball State. Ball State had only had 10 all year.
Holding. Offense, number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. You beat it out.
Well, UConn right now just shooting themselves in the foot. They had a nice drive going, running the football. They take a sack. They get the forced fumble. Now you're going to see here left tackle William Beatty. He's first team all Big East. He's had a great year so far, just struggling with Andre Smith up front, the point of attack right now. Third in California. And Doug, not a lot of offensive coordinators have a lot of plays for these situations, especially UConn.
Yeah, well, here it is. Hand it off to Donald Brown and get as many yards as he can, and he gets it back to the original line of scrimmage with a 15-yard pickup before Sherrod Lott finally corrals him.
You talk about the struggles that UConn has had throwing the football this year. It's critical, therefore, in this football game that they're able to run the ball on first and second down, put themselves in convertible situations on third down to keep these chains moving, because they're not good enough throwing the football to make up those big down and distances.
Fair catch being called for by Hamlin. 37 yards on the punt. We're here in the first quarter, the third annual International Bowl. There's a look at Turner Gill, whose team upset Ball State to win the MAC championship. Welcome back to Toronto. You're taking a look inside a ferry. These ships go between Toronto Island and the city itself. A small island just off the coast of Toronto. Actually, Babe Ruth hit his first ever professional home run off that island. Starks carries. He's brought down by Robert McLean. 6 yards on the pickup.
Well, it'll be easy for us to get carried away with Donald Brown on the other side. We have to remember James Starks, 8th in the nation this year running the football, 1,300 yards. You see the tough running, and Doug, you mentioned earlier, tall, slender, skinny guy, but he runs really tough.
Yeah, he looks like an Eric Dickerson carrying a football, that long stride, and if he gets a crease, he's gone. He's a big play guy. And he catches the ball extremely well out of the backfield.
Tight ends. Willie back to pass, has his target, and it's his favorite target, of course, Naaman Roosevelt, 10 yards on the pickup.
It was a really nice job of Drew Willie being very patient. He's on the rollout. He's got a flat curl combination. The defense takes away the flat. He's able to find his big play receiver, Naaman Roosevelt, in the curl.
That's Brett Hamlin down on the ground. Couldn't quite see exactly what nicked him up.
Well, Ernest Jackson, one of their big play receivers, is already hurt. If Hamlin goes down, he's the guy basically replacing Jackson. There'll be a little lean at the receiver position. You're right. Nice patience on that, letting it clear.
Well, Brett Hamlin was the player running. He was lined up in the slot. You'll see him right here. He's running the flat route. He's actually just going to be on the left side of your screen. Looks like he gets knocked down before the ball was in the air. And right before Roosevelt was able to make the catch.
Oh, he's calling.
I got
your number. I got your number, baby. Let's go. It's on. Now I got a reason to play.
You didn't already.
That always confused me. Guys get mad. Okay, now I'm going to start. Why weren't you playing hard in the beginning?
I was playing hard, but I'm going to play really hard now. First down at 10. Early back to pass immediately. Little pump fake, looks around, dumps it off in the backfield to James Starks. And Lawrence Wilson brings him down with a loss of 2.
Well, we'll go back to the play. Here's Brett Hamlin lined up in the slot. You're going to see him just run the flat route. The corner comes down to pinch on it, and it looks like that's where the collision occurs. You're going to see him in the flat. The corner reads it, bang!
Oh.
Before the ball's in the air.
It's legal as long as the ball's not in the air. It's legal because he was within that range, but not a cheap shot.
Well, setting the tone early. UConn secondary letting these big play receivers from Buffalo know they're back there and they're hitting.
Pitch goes out to Starks. Fights his way across the 40-yard line to the 42. Picks up 7. Lawrence Wilson was there to bring him down.
It's the one thing that's really impressive to me about James Starks. Again, he's big and lengthy, but he's very shifty. He can move sideways. He said his favorite plays are plays in which he has the opportunity to cut back. He likes bounce plays and zone toss plays where he can actually cut back because he's got great vision.
That was Peter Bittner, number 73, pulling out there with a nice kick-out block. Doing a good job with the UConn D-line. They're running the ball well.
Rack and Kisbeth are the tight ends. 3rd down and about 4 yards to go. Pitch goes back out to Starks again. Tries to cut it back, but he's not gaining anything. Just gets it to the line of scrimmage. Greg Lloyd with the tackle.
Yeah, you go back just a couple plays ago, a short completion. First play of the game, Jasper Howard jumps the quick out. So Buffalo came back with a slant and go, trying to get him to jump a quick 3-step drop, pump fake, and went after it. But Howard did an excellent job of retreating and covering that as well. So he's getting it all covered.
Peter Farden's the punter. His first punt was 56 yards. Jasper Howard is standing on his 20-yard line. Punt comes up a little bit short. Russell down. Nice job of coverage. But there's a flag on the play.
It touched the member of the receiving team.
Yeah, sure did.
Well, that's what the hat is thrown for. But
for running into the kicker, that penalty will be refused. It will be first down.
With Buffalo getting a big break here, you're going to see the punt by Peter Farden. He gets it off. There's the running into the kicker. That's the 5-yard penalty that gets refused. Down the other side of the field, Jasper Howard was not able to field the punt, and he should have been yelling, Peter, 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 waving his hands. All those UConn players away from the ball. The ball hits the ground. It ends up making contact with one of the UConn players. Buffalo, very opportunistic. They get a huge break here now down close to UConn territory.
Well, see, I would not be surprised if they wanted to take another look at this.
Yeah, they're going to take a look.
It's so important on punt returns, the returner, if he's not going to get a chance to field that ball, you got to be waving your arms violently to let your players know to get away.
Because their backs turned. They're making their blocks. They're preoccupied with their assignment, what they're doing. They're waiting for a vocal cue from you to get the heck out of the way. There's the running in the kicker part is going to be declined. This isn't a big part. Unless they were to rule that the ball did not touch a UConn player, then they come back and get the first down off the penalty.
It was interesting because I did see the scramble. And, Jesse, you were quick to call for it, but I did not see it hit a UConn player.
You see Jasper
there,
Howard
hit him in the back.
It sure did. Looks like it's Jonathan Jean-Louis. He's got his back turned. It hits him right in the side. It clearly hits the UConn player. And Buffalo doing a nice job, able to bounce on it. This is going to be Buffalo ball heading in deep in UConn territory.
Yeah, no question. When you look at that replay, you see it hit him.
You saw Jasper Howard returning the punt, trying to wave the hands, yelling Peter. That's kind of the universal code for, hey, get away from me right now. The ball's going to be landing short. Get your heads up, try to find the football. Jonathan Jean-Louis, they're not able to do that. It almost looked like as though he did not see the call from Jasper Howard. And, of course, the ball hit him right in the side. It looked very obvious, very clear.
And, again, Buffalo has a knack for coming up with these turnovers.
First and 10, Buffalo.
Whether it's special teams stripping the quarterback, the ball's on the ground. They coach it, they preach it. This was a fortunate break. This was just one of those things that happens. But, again, a Buffalo player ready to jump on the ball.
The call on the field stands, so Buffalo in excellent field position.
Great job by Alex Pierre, the young wide receiver at Buffalo, to be able to jump on that football.
Willie going back and looking for it all right away. It almost has it picked off. Robert McClain gets in front of it and had his hands on it. Thought he had an interception.
Well, that's twice now we've only seen UConn intercept passes, and Buffalo here going with a double post. It's a very common concept down in the red zone. This ball, though, thrown a little bit behind the intended wide receiver, Brett Hamlin. Robert McClain allowing that to go through his hands. Robert McClain this year has been deadly. 3 interceptions, but he's taken 2 to the house. Buffalo won't be able to afford too many more of those errant passes to some of these UConn defenders.
Billy this time hands it off to Starks, who stops, stutter steps, tries to step back into a hole, but Jasper Howard is there to shut him down after just a yard.
You know, Drew Willie has really worked on his rhythm, passing his feet. He made a nice drop. The ball was thrown behind it. Didn't look like it didn't come out of his hand correctly, because that was a touchdown waiting to happen. That ball's out in front, put it in a good position, you had a touchdown.
You got to give UConn's defensive line a lot of credit right now, I think. They give up a lot of size to Buffalo on their offensive line, their side of the football, but it's the athleticism, I think, right now of UConn's D-line, running around, creating havoc. They're able to plug up a lot of these running lanes.
Yet to convert a third down. This is their third attempt. Willie out of the shotgun. Time, dumps it off short. Starks with the ball, but he's going to just get him closer for a field goal range. It's going to be a 4th down. About 6.
Again, getting in long yardage situation, UConn can drop back in zone, force the dump off to the back. Wilson comes up and makes the tackle. Sure hand. I mean, that's not an easy job, because Buffalo, they don't mind dumping the ball off the Starks. He can take off and run and make a big play out of it. Sure tackling.
38-yard attempt for A.J. Trinsen. It took a long time getting there, didn't it? But it's good. Buffalo's on the board first. They 3-0 lead for Coach Turner Gill. Gill trying to pick up the team's 9th victory this year. Stick around. More from Toronto in a moment.
Great moment, but
they call those the gargoyles outside of Rogers Center. They're actually images of fans watching a baseball or a football game. And right now, Buffalo with a 3-0 lead. Let's join David Amber after A.J. Principe's field goal.
John, they have the lead, but they're not necessarily happy. Quarterbacks coach and assistant head coach Danny Barrett was just talking to the guys about missed opportunities. They know they got the turnover. They had great field position. You got to turn that into 7. They know this UConn team has proven itself in the Big East, and they got a big challenge ahead. Not particularly happy with just a 3-0 lead. It's a very noisy sideline, though, here on Buffalo, and he's also trying to calm his players down. They have more than 15,000 fans from Buffalo making the trip here to Toronto, John.
Danny Barrett, CFL mainstay, quarterback in the CFL, threw for 600 yards in a game, set a record at that point. Also a head coach for 7 years up here in the CFL.
McGrody this time with the kick, fielded by Todman. Going to try and pick up a couple of blocks. Finds a seam, splits it. He's across the 40 to 50 and pushed out just before, well, they're saying about the 45-yard line.
Boy, this one just parted like the Red Sea, Jess. I think you and I could have gotten up in there. We wouldn't have gotten anywhere near as far. But, boy, great job by the return team. Nice step, put in the ground and go north and south.
Well, it's a nice way to gain a lot of momentum back. You just have a special teams turnover, a mistake. Your defense hold them to only 3 points. Now, all of a sudden, you get the football back with a great kick return back into Buffalo territory, giving your offense a chance now to go at least match what Buffalo just put on the board.
Okay, UConn is yet to put the ball in the air. 7 runs, no pass. Let's see if they can do anything in the air.
45 yards on that return. And guess what? The ball goes Donald Brown. Knocks it back. They don't have to put it in the air. This thing's going to the end zone. 45-yard run. Did he bust through that hole in a hurry?
That's what is so unbelievable to me about Donald Brown. While he has great speed, did you see the patience on that run? This is just a zone stretch play to the left. He's able to set his blocks up right here. He's not in full gear. Boom! Sees the hole, puts his foot in the ground. He's got the speed to take it the distance every time. He is the total package at running back.
Yeah, Mike Newton's a great tackler, and he was totally unblocked on that play. And in a position to maybe make the play, he put that foot in the ground and cut up inside and took it to the house.
Got a flag here on the extra point.
Illegal substitution, 12 players on the defense. The penalties decline. We will attempt to try.
Well, they're in Canada. Wait.
It's 12 players in the CFL. That should be legal.
This is a CFL field. Even though the lines don't say so, it's a CFL field. If you want to put 12, go ahead.
They probably needed 12 on that last play if they were going to stop Donald Brown.
Taggart for the extra point.
They probably only had 10 on the last play and wanted to make up for it.
I'll tell you, 18 touchdowns on the year now for Donald Brown, who just showed everything in his arsenal on that one run. UConn 7-3.
The Under Armour High. We just saw how explosive Donald Brown can be. The big question is, will he be returning to Connecticut, or is he off to greener pastures, possibly in the National Football League? I spoke with him yesterday, and he said, you know, it's going to come down to what he can get advice from his parents, his high school coach, as well as Randy Edsel, his Connecticut coach. Now, he says he squats over 600 pounds. He could bench in the mid-threes. He could run very quickly, as we just saw in that last play. NFL scouts apparently are drooling all over this guy. They really would like him to come out. I guess he could be late first round, early third round, anywhere in that barometer. So he's had a big decision to make in the near future. John?
Thanks a lot, David. Cullen with the kick. Millis picks it up. He almost has a hole to bust through, but just gets it across 20, 19 yards. Don't forget, tomorrow night, ESPN delivers the second annual Under Armour All-America High School Football Game from Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex, presented by ESPNU at 8 Eastern on ESPN. 80 players from across the nation will take part in the All-Star Football competition, spotlighting the nation's top high school seniors and, of course, your college superstars of the future.
We had a big high school All-Star game here last night. That's right. Field. We had the Toronto All-Stars versus the Quebec Provincial All-Stars, all put on by the International Bowl. Very nice.
Toss out into the flat. There's the Starks. That was to Roosevelt, pardon me.
Just a great block on the perimeter by Hamlin. Cut the defender so it could bounce outside. They need some positive things to happen in the pass game.
Well, it's a great play call by Turner Gill because they line up their big playmaking running back in the slot, and basically that swing pass is just an extension of a sweep play. So it's an extension of the running game. They're able to get their big playmaker, James Starks, on the outside where he can make things happen.
You can see Buffalo has the advantage in time, but not in the score. Willie wants to go deep. Oh, and he has Naaman Roosevelt, but he just overshot him. McLean was there as well, and I'm sitting here with a couple of quarterbacks, and they're shaking their head because when we were at practice yesterday, you both said that every coach you ever played for said, don't do what?
Don't overthrow wide receivers when they're open deep, and Danny Barrett, their quarterback coach, is going to be jumping up and down. We just heard him talk about missed opportunities. Naaman Roosevelt wide open in the post. That's a play that Drew Willie has to be able to hit. That's 3 times now early in this game, Doug. We've seen 2 dropped interceptions thrown by Drew Willie, and now a touchdown overthrown.
And since Danny Barrett is taking over as a quarterback coach 2 years ago, he's really eliminated interceptions and bad decisions. UConn has jumped a couple of routes, had their chance for the interceptions. That post route obviously overthrown. The play action held the safety and drew him up, had a one-on-one matchup. The earlier shot was just a poorly thrown ball. It didn't come out of his hand right and drew behind the receiver a little bit. Should have been intercepted. Danny has done an excellent job as far as reads.
The other question is, Naaman Roosevelt went off the field limping right now. Handoff goes to Camillus, and he'll gain just 3.
It just looks to me right now, early in this game, UConn playing much more physical up front. That defensive line is just doing such a nice job exploding off the football into that Buffalo offensive line, creating havoc, getting into their gaps. There have not been a lot of places to go if you're James Starks running inside so far in this football game.
You know, and they are a little lighter. We haven't even gotten into the defensive ends, Williams and Brown, and how quick they are and how good they are in the pass rush.
Another attempt at a 3rd down conversion. They came up short on their first 3. Pocket collapses on Willie, so he dumps it off Starks. Starks was lined up already. Even if he caught that ball, he was going nowhere.
He was trying to avoid and then catch. He was trying to make the move to avoid the big hit and catch the ball at the same time.
But again, it's very vanilla for UConn on defense on these third downs. They're rushing 4 players, playing big zones, keeping all the action right in front of them, and doing a nice job attacking the football when Drew Willie is trying to check it down.
That is their deal, though. On third and long, you're just going to get that 4-man rush. They feel they can get the pressure, sit back, come up, and make the hit.
Jasper Howard back to field the punt. Grabs it. I think maybe the guy closest to it thought he called a fair catch because he didn't touch him.
You know, he probably would have loved to have called a fair catch, but he had to run so far to get the ball. He was afraid to throw that arm in the air and had to catch it. Didn't get hit.
That's just a lot of confidence by Jasper Howard. This is a tough catch, too. You're going to see him. He's sprinting here to his right. The ball's spinning away from him. The defender right in front of him, not able to make the play. That was Sherrod Lott just standing in front, I think, anticipating him to make the fair catch signal. But give Jasper Howard a lot of credit, showing a lot of guts, being able to catch the football in traffic. And then what about the ability to put this football back deep into Buffalo territory to set up the offense again?
Toss out to the left and out to Donald Brown. Gets a pickup of about 6 yards. Right now, let's check in with Dari Noka in the studio.
All right, guys, want to let everybody know what's over on ESPN. A little college basketball. Pittsburgh still unbeaten, taking on a Georgetown team that's coming off a big win over Connecticut. That game over on ESPN. Right now, Pitt with a 3-point lead. Back to 3 guys who know Canada oh so well, gentlemen.
Yes, we do, Dari. Yes, we do. Love it every time I cross the border. Nothing against my adopted country.
Okay.
But I love it whenever I get to come home. Pass out to Brown. And he's run down without picking up anything. Guys, we're going to take a look at the play selection for the Connecticut Huskies. And what's that? That's a bagel
well,
at the bottom.
Their deception is that Lorenzen has taken off and run a couple of times, and they've actually put the ball in the air on the last 2 plays, John. They pitched the bat, and they ran like an option pitch. So when the ball's in the air, that's a risky play for them.
Just backward passing. This should not, again, be a big shock, though. UConn comes into the game averaging only 147 yards a game throwing it. That's 106th in the country.
Brown again, quick up the middle, burst, and he'll get himself a first down.
And who can blame them when on 3rd and 5, you can just dial that up from a regular personnel formation, a tight end fullback on the field. This is just power football, UConn style, running right at you. You're just going to see great surge off the line, allowing Donald Brown just to get north.
Just power O, bring the guard from the backside coming up through, and that is power football. That's just downhill running.
Donald Brown already 84 yards on 8 carries. Going to get it again, and again, watch the patience as he busts through another opening.
Mike Newton's diving at the ankles to pull him down, right? He's still trying to get a stiff arm down to the ground. He can't quite reach him. He's looking for the opportunity to give that stiff arm.
Well, this is something we expected. Randy Edsall told us they expected they'd be able to run the football again. You're going to see from behind. It's the exact same play they just ran previously on 3rd down. And Donald Brown again showing you the patience, the vision, and that quick burst once he sees the hole open up to go ahead and get more yards.
Well, Connecticut's last 4 games in the red zone, 7 times, no touchdowns. We'll see if they can manufacture one, but Brown is brought down in the backfield by Devontae Shannon.
That's the 3rd time in the row they've run the exact same play, and obviously if it's not broke, don't fix it. But give Devontae Shannon a lot of credit. The safety able to play up near the line of scrimmage, 106 tackles this year for Buffalo. He becomes only the 3rd player in Buffalo history to register back-to-back 100 tackle years. He is a tackling machine.
Yeah, number 34, Justin Winters, is their leading tackler and a guy with speed and all that. And Connecticut say, hey, we want to run downhill. We want to run right at him, not away from him, because he can chase and run down plays.
First quarter comes to an end. 7-3. Connecticut has the lead over Buffalo. These Bulls only had to travel about 90 miles to get here. Husky fans a little longer, but they made the trip just the same for the 3rd annual International Bowl.
First and second round coverage of the Masters coming in April on ESPN.
John Saunders, Doug Flutie, Jesse Palmer, and David Amber here. As we watched UConn season recap, they returned 19 starters. Started 5-0 and got as high as number 24 in the AP poll. But then things started to fall apart as Tyler Lorenzen fractured his right foot against Louisville. They lost to North Carolina. North Carolina blocking 3 punts and had 3 interceptions in that game. So they finished the season losing 5 of their last 7 games. That's the same, a 7-5 season and a second straight trip to a bowl. You thought we were going to have a pass there, didn't you, Doug?
No way. He's in the shotgun and drop back.
Doug was getting all excited. He grabbed my arm thinking, here we go. Finally, here it is. And
we're going to have to have an over and under here. When will the first pass attempt come?
But it's a nice play call. And again, Randy Edsall staying true to his word. He told us Tyler Lorenzen was going to have a lot more design runs in this game. And that was a nice time to call it there. Buffalo showing blitz pre-snap. They bail out to play a big zone, and that is the perfect defense to run that QB draw against.
3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, hand the ball off, right?
Lorenzen out of the shotgun. Brown in the backfield with him. And there it is. It's thrown behind the intended receiver, Mike Smith. And he can't get both hands on it. So it's a 4th down.
When you'll see Tyler Lorenzen's body language, it looked like there may have been a mess up here on the route, or he didn't like where necessarily Mike Smith, his wide receiver, was going. You'll see him here. He wants his receivers, true freshman Mike Smith, to come back to the football and attack it. Nonetheless, the first pass play for UConn goes incomplete, sets up a field goal attempt.
And Dave Teggart, who's missed just 1 field goal this year, as a walk-on freshman. 12 of 13. Make that 13 of 14. 32-yarders. There's a flag on the play, though.
That one miss he had was a 53-yard attempt,
yeah,
John, so you can't count that against him.
Wait a second. On my notes, it says you can.
Okay.
No.
It's because as quarterbacks, we don't want our interceptions, with bad routes.
Illegal formation. The try is good.
Yeah, it's just like those Hail Marys at the end of the half that get intercepted. Those don't count. The ones that bounce off the receiver.
Well, the field goal was good. So the Huskies have opened up a touchdown lead over Turner Gill and the Buffaloes. Back to Canada, and as the kids and the adults like to do, I know I grew up doing this. Jesse, I know you do as well. Get a pond, get a frozen sheet, get a shovel, take the shot. Although the difference here is the kids today can afford to have an actual regulation net. We used to have 2 boots.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to take one guy's boot, put it down, and those 3 your goalposts.
Shinny hockey, though, is a rite of passage if you're Canadian. You remember going to school, taking your stick, taking your skates, you get off the bus on the way back from class.
Yep.
Quick little hour game.
Absolutely. Go out if you could find a local rink that actually some of them would be lighted. Go there and have late night games. At least that's what I told my parents I was doing.
It's the backyard, front yard rinks that I'm looking at.
Mario Henry crosses the 20 and then gets knocked down short of the 25. 2 of the best offenses take the field on ESPN Tuesday night in the second to last college football game of the season as Nate Davis and the 22nd ranked Ball State Cardinals take on Tulsa Golden Hurricane. The GMAC Bowl on ESPN Tuesday at 8. And of course, Ball State had an undefeated season until they ran into these Buffalo Bulls. Lilly with the quick handoff to Thermillis. Picks up just a yard.
And so far for UConn defensively, they've been very stout. Opportunistic in the secondary. They've had 2 big chances to get big interceptions. They have not been able to capitalize, but that defensive line up front, they've been very, very active, Doug.
And they're keeping Buffalo in long yardage situations on 3rd down, yet to convert on 3rd down because they can play zone, back off, come up, and make the hit.
Buffalo right now offensively, they've run 15 plays, averaging only 2.7 yards per play. They have to find ways to generate more explosive opportunities on offense.
Mills along in the backfield. Fake handoff. Willie comes. Tosses it out into the flat. And a short gain. This one just 4 yards as Jesse Rack hauled that one in.
You see here defensively again just how good this UConn defense is. Ranked 7th in the nation against the pass. That bodes well against Buffalo here today, but it's actually a very young defense. When you look at the top 7 tacklers for UConn defensively, 4 of them are only sophomores.
Now this 4th 3rd down attempt. And this time it's going to be a little closer as Jesse Rack hauled that one in. Fought his way 2 yards. Still looks like it's going to be short of the 1st down. It was Delliston that made the tackle.
And it was a nice short-handed tackle because it very easily could have gotten the 1st down, running that flat route. Nice come up, make the hit. Again, it was the fact that it's a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 situation. This time they had to play a little man-to-man instead of that zone, and great one-on-one coverage.
The punting team comes on, and I know it's deep in their territory, but Turner Gill is the type of guy who would take a chance. If any coach would take a chance, it's deep in their territory on a 4th down conversion to be Turner Gill.
And they've been very successful on 4th down when they've had to go for it.
Jasper Howard gets backed up off his fingertips and kicks it into the end zone. And that's going to be a safety or a touchdown.
How does Buffalo do this?
UConn never got to the ball.
They just encouraged the bad mistake.
Ray Anthony Long comes up with the touchdown. I mean,
it starts off by an absolute bomb from Peter Farden. I mean, this punt is an absolute... He just kicks it up into the... It almost hits the roof, it seems like. And I don't think Jasper Howard was expecting such a bomb. He tries to field it over his shoulder, Willie Mays style. He fumbles it, and then what makes it worse, kicks it into the end zone instead of just jumping on the football.
But once you get that close to the end zone, try to bat that thing out of the back of the end zone. He tried to make the big center field turn and go after it. Couldn't make the play. It was a difficult catch. 54-yard punt. It would have hit and rolled even further, so he's trying to avoid that. Turns into a touchdown for Buffalo.
Special teams. Every coach will tell you.
You know, you go back to that Ball State game, same deal.
There's Farden. He knew he had a good one. Winds up at 7 points for Buffalo, and we're tied at 10 apiece.
The Suzuki SX4 crossover gets 30 miles per gallon highway, has a pop-up Navi, available all-wheel drive, and starts under $16,000. So just because there's a gas crisis doesn't mean there has to be a fun crisis. The Suzuki SX4. Live large, drive small. Suzuki.
Ouch! Tired of getting nicks and cuts from blades that go ooh? Dull after just a few shaves? Introducing Save-A-Blade, the ingenious razor sharpener that can give you up to 200 perfect shaves from a single blade. Just slide the razor inside, press the button, and in seconds, your razor blade is like new again. Save-A-Blade's secret is our patented micro-honing technology. It works on all razors, even disposables. Independent laboratory testing proved that after 200 shaves, a razor sharpened with Save-A-Blade was virtually identical to a brand new blade. But that's not all. You'll also receive our deluxe His and Hers 18-piece grooming kit. That's right, you get the Save-A-Blade razor sharpener and our deluxe 18-piece grooming kit, a $50 value for only $19.99. But wait, call now and get our $5 rebate offer. And get all this for only $14.99.
Call 1-800-631-1542 to order Save a Blade for $14.99 plus shipping after $5 mail-in rebate. That's 1-800-631-1542.
ESPN Wednesday Night Hoops. First at 7 Eastern, Stephen Curry looks to catch fire in Cameron as Davidson tries to slay Goliath. Powerhouse Duke. Then, your NBA destination takes you to Denver, where the NBA on ESPN has never sounded like this. Dick Vitale calls NBA action as the Heat battle the Nuggets. Wednesday, Davidson Duke at 7 Eastern. Then Heat Nuggets at 9 on ESPN.
ESPN College Football, the International Bowl, is brought to you by Suzuki Automotive. Live large, drive small.
Well, we all heard about the backyard rink. Well, here in Toronto, you'll find the occasional front yard rink. Look at that. Looks like the Forest Hills part of Toronto.
That's my kind of rink. Nice and small. You don't really have to be able to skate to play on it, move around. Dave Sapungis in Calgary used to keep a rink out front for the kids. He'd go out and water it every night. He was a wide receiver with the Calgary Stampeders. He used to maintain it for the kids in the neighborhood, and they'd come out and skate. And I'd watch.
You'd play goal, I thought.
I could play goal. I can play goal because I'm not a strong skater. Got a good glove.
Jordan Todman fields the kickoff. Goes to his right, cuts it back up the middle. And a good run back across the 35-yard line, 25 yards.
You wonder right now if UConn's a little bit shell-shocked because they've been dominating this game on the offensive and defensive side of the football, and all of a sudden they're looking up at the scoreboard. It's a tie game because their punt return team now has given up the majority of the points.
Well, it's the way it is against Buffalo. They cause turnovers, keep themselves in the game. They had 2 fumble recoveries for touchdowns against Ball State to help win that game. It's just what they do. They're opportunistic.
UConn, 108 total yards to Buffalo's 49. But as you said, Jesse, all tied up here. End around as they fake the handoff to Brown. Todman takes it, and he'll gain about 3 yards.
That was a really nice job by Buffalo not over pursuing on the play, and Andre Smith, their left defensive end, does a nice job staying home, not over pursuing to the sweep play. He was there, did not make the tackle on the reverse, but was able to keep that to a marginal gain.
Yeah, William Beatty came out on the corner there trying to do the hook block on the defensive end, and he kind of used his knee. It was like setting a pick. If he had actually blocked them, it would have been a clip. So he stood, put his hands up like you would setting a screen in basketball, and kind of used his knee to screen them out.
Let's go down to the field with David Amber.
All right, John, we're here with Ward Manuel, the athletic director, joined Buffalo in 2005. Not a lot of people thought this team would ever get to a bowl game. How do you explain the success you guys have had?
Well, they just kept fighting, and Turner is such a great coach, and he's done a great job with the team, and the players have really fought hard, and they bought into his system of saying we believe we can win no matter what other people think.
You're the man responsible for bringing Turner Gill here. How do you explain what's happened to him being overlooked at both Syracuse and Auburn for those positions? What was your reaction?
Well, I guess I'm just thankful right now, and Turner's such a great guy. I know how great he is, and it's disappointing the numbers that we had, but I congratulate the schools that made the choices they made recently in hiring minority coaches. I think we deserve opportunities to provide them with, and I believe everybody's got to make their right choice, but I'm glad to have Turner here.
Finally, how do you think we're going to diversify the coaching ranks in college a little bit better than we see right now?
Well, I think my fellow ADs and the presidents really need to look at people as people and what they can do as coaches and how they are as individuals and what they're going to do with these kids. And I think if they start having that open mind and stop worrying about the other things outside of football and who the person is and how good of a person he is, then I think we'll start making the right choices.
Ward Manuel, the AD here at Buffalo, incredible run, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much, David. I appreciate it.
All right, John, back to you.
Well, David, we're actually going to start this next college football season with more Division 1A African-American or minority coaches than we started the last season, but it's because of, you see those bottom 4 will be starting. Ron English, who, of course, was that great defensive coordinator in Michigan before moving on to the SEC. And Turner Gill, hired in 2006, has the highest tenure. Now, the problem as I see it, guys, is that They're not getting interviewed, and part of the reason they're not getting interviewed is because they're not being forced to like they do in the National Football League. But the other problem is that the boosters are involved in making choices. It's not just the athletic director and the president of the university that makes the decision. And as a result, sometimes they don't get interviewed by the right person. Lorenzen fakes it one way, and he's going to be sacked. Ball is loose, and Buffalo's forced yet another fumble, and will get the ball in great field position.
Just amazing how they are coached to strip the ball, bring it away, preferably scoop and score. Here they just fall on it. Lorenz trying to step up. That ball should not have come out. He's got to protect the football better.
Well, he's trying to tuck the football away, and that's Anel Montanez that's bringing him down. But Andre Smith coming from the backside, you're going to see him right there, 97. Watch as he gets his hand in. His left hand actually pokes that ball away. Doug, you're absolutely right. Jimmy Williams, the defensive coordinator at Buffalo, preaches this to the Buffalo defense. It's the first period they do in practice. They practice 6 different takeaway possibilities, and they just do it so well on game day.
And now another excellent chance. Willie.
When they talk about
ducks it off to Roosevelt. 10 yards in the pickup for the first down.
And ways of stripping the ball. You know, Justin Winter had a huge strip against Army, stripping the ball from behind, and they coach it and say, you know, it was a chase from behind, a chase and strip. So they have all these different techniques and ways to do it and turn it into a science.
Buffalo 9 touchdowns in their last 10 trips in the red zone. That's what you call pretty efficient. Starks the lone back. Willie gives it to him. Starks stutter steps before just crossing the line of scrimmage as Cody Brown comes up with a tackle.
What's amazing to me in this game so far is just the areas of the field that these turnovers have occurred so far. In that first punt return from UConn early in that first quarter happened deep in their own territory. They get the punt over top of Jasper Howard's head, gets recovered in the end zone. Now again, the big sack and the forced fumble on Tyler Lorenzen, setting the football back up in scoring range for the Buffalo offense to take advantage of.
You know, offensively, they haven't done much at all, but they have 10 points on the board and are in scoring position again to take the lead.
Willie out of the shotgun. Starks moved over to his right. Pass comes underneath to Starks. Well, we talked about the lack of African-American coaches, but here's one who has been nothing but successful, guys. Turner Gill. And when you sit down and actually talk to him, it's almost, he exudes this warmth, this patience, this intelligence that allows you to believe that you could play for this guy.
He's extremely impressive to talk to. There's no question about that. There's no wonder why kids want to go play for him. But the bottom line is you cannot argue with the success he's had. This program had 7 MAC wins in 7 years in the conference before he got there. They've had 12 since in 3 years with Turner Gill as the head coach.
Third down conversion again. They have not had one yet. And they're going to come up short one more time. Why are they throwing underneath on this third down?
You get in that third and long situation, and Willie has been groomed to read coverage, go to his backs when he has to, dump it off if necessary. What happens is Connecticut backs off in zone, sits back, dump it in front, come up and make the hit.
Well, you got to give UConn's linebackers a lot of credit because they're getting great depth on their drops. They're taking away everything in the intermediate to deep passing range. The only thing available for Drew Willie right now on these third downs is underneath check down throws.
Principe attempting his second field goal of the game. This one is 29 yards. Bangs it through, and Buffalo has the lead. Randy Edsall's squad having problems with their special teams as a result. Down 3.
The Under Armour High School. Mike Newton, we can update his status. Dislocated left shoulder. It popped back in. The defensive captain, who's a junior, his status is questionable to return. They have peeled off his uniform, his shoulder pads, and right now we'll keep you updated on that. But right now he's in a considerable amount of pain here on the Buffalo sidelines, guys.
Well, I can tell you, as a guy who's had 9 shoulder dislocations, he's in considerable pain. Oh, another muff. Just falls into the end zone. He's going to try and run it out. And he does get it out. Oh, fumble. Buffalo looks like they've got it again. Just poor choices. Robbie Fry.
First of all,
mishandles it. Goes into the end zone.
It's Buffalo ball.
Oh, a flag. That's going to be personal foul, I think.
Have to come out with that ball. You never had possession of it. Just go fall on it in the end zone. You got to know the rules on special teams. And then he comes out, gets hit again, and fumbles. So just amazing how this happens.
Everything that could have gone wrong in terms of special teams, in terms of the return game for UConn, has just gone wrong. And here is again what you just mentioned, Doug. Robbie Fray does not have to take that football out. And if you are going to take it out, you better have the ball secured on your own 5-yard line coming out like that. Critical right now.
Fourth turnover.
Critical right now that Buffalo is able to capitalize with 6 points right now. You got to score a touchdown. UConn's defense has done such a good job up to this point, only giving up field goals. But this is the story right now, right here. 4 takeaways. 3 of those coming on special teams. It is paramount.
You're right.
That Buffalo is able to score a touchdown here and really make UConn pay for the mistakes.
They got to come out with 7 out of this.
Well, the ball is inside the 5-yard line. We told you how successful they have been. Starks in the backfield. Fake to Starks, will roll out. Flag is thrown as the pass comes up incomplete. Intended for Kyle Bray.
See the ecstasy on the sidelines here of the Buffalo side. And all of a sudden, Randy Edsall not as happy with Robbie Fray for bringing that out.
Offense, number 29. Holding, defense, number 1. The penalty's offset. Replay, first down.
Buffalo expects these things to happen. They anticipate the turnovers, the mistake, special teams here, but even if it is on defense and stripping, they anticipate it and are ready and there to recover the football on cue.
It's one thing to anticipate it. It's another thing to take advantage of it, as you said.
Yeah, the UConn defense has played great. There have been no third down conversions at all for Buffalo. So holding them to field goals has been big. And like Jesse said, I mean, you're sitting on the 4-yard line now. Stick it in the end zone.
Toss to Starks. Goes to the outside. Cuts back. Muscles his way in for the touchdown. James Starks, 4 yards.
That is a statement run to me by James Stark. This is one of those runs that can completely sway momentum and crank up the sidelines. Watch him drop the shoulder and absolutely blow up Robert Vaughn at the goal line. Vaughn's there to make the stop. Bang! He's able to get in. Lots of strength
for a long start. For a long, lanky type of body guy, that they'd say he's strong, and it would be surprising to see that out of that body type. But boy, he is strong, powerful, puts that shoulder down, runs him over, gets in the end zone, and you can feel the momentum swing. The air going out of the bubble on the UConn sideline. It's how many mistakes are we going to make? We're doing everything we want. We're playing great defense. We're running the football. We should be up.
I had a chance to help call the Holiday Bowl last week in San Diego, and Jeremiah Masoli, the quarterback from Oregon, had a long touchdown run in which he actually hunted up an Oklahoma State safety, blew him up, stayed on his feet, and scored, and it completely changed the complexion of that Oregon bench. And you're going to see, in my opinion, something very similar right here. James Starks on the sweeps, easily could have run out of bounds, drops the shoulder, and completely decleats and runs over the strong safety, Robert Vaughn.
They are reviewing this. Make sure he did not step out of bounds before crossing into the end zone.
He's checking to see if his knee goes down before he's in.
Balls
There's no
in
doubt.
the air.
It's
He's
a
in the air.
touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
No doubt.
The field is confirmed. Touchdown.
And for Starks, his 16th touchdown of the year. This guy was a defensive back when he first came to Buffalo, and
a high school quarterback.
He came up with an interception, and Turner Gill saw him running and said, what the heck are we doing having him at quarterback? We better get him the football. Principe's extra point is good. And Buffalo, behind the running of James Starks, taking a touchdown lead over UConn here in Toronto. And welcome back to beautiful Toronto, where even downtown, there's always a hill you can find with some snow on it. And there's always a rink.
Too many men on the ice.
Everybody just shows up with a stick and a puck.
Somebody's got a lot of guts to be out there wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
In Toronto. I don't know who that guy was, but that's like Yankees, Red Sox.
Todman hold on to the ball across the 20 and fights his way across the 30-yard line.
Success.
And applause to Flutie as he hangs on to the ball after the 26-yard return. Tomorrow night, ESPN delivers the second annual Under Armour All-America high school football game from Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex, presented by ESPNU at 8 Eastern on ESPN. 80 players from across the nation will take part in the All-Star Football competition, spotlighting the nation's top high school seniors. The players that you'll be seeing in college uniforms in the not-too-distant future. Donald Brown. So he has it all. The power, the strength, and the speed to gain 15 yards. Brown, 111 yards now.
You know, he finally gets a chance to get his hands back on the ball. They hold on to the kickoff and run it out. You know, this offense, 90-plus yards rushing in the first quarter. They got to get the ball in his hands, but they keep fumbling on special teams and not giving them an opportunity.
Again to Brown, spins outside, fights his way for 5 yards.
There have been a lot of miscues on special teams so far. It started with Jonathan Jean-Louis having the ball run into him. Buffalo able to recover on that punt. Then after a bomb by Peter Fard and Jasper Howard unable to recover, it got recovered for a touchdown in the end zone by Buffalo. And then we just saw Robert Frey again muff the kickoff and then decided to bring it out when he could have just gone down on a knee for a touchback. Buffalo able to jump on that. That one led to 7 points, and that's why we're sitting right now with the score 20-10 Buffalo.
And offensively, UConn's been able to do what they want. They've been running the football well, but you lose that continuity when you're not getting the ball back and getting back out on the field.
And now you get a monster penalty, and if you're UConn, you get in these long situations. This is not a juggernaut passing offense. They cannot afford to be taking big penalties.
Brown has it, skips out, he loses the ball. UConn puts it on the floor again, and again. Buffalo has come up with it.
Unbelievable.
Montanez was the one who fell on the ball.
Well, this is when you know it's getting bad for UConn because your best player now puts the football on the ground. This is a guy that UConn is relying on all game long to keep them in the game and to win. You'll see Donald Brown just try to bounce it out to the right side, but look at the bodies Buffalo able to get their hands in, strip the ball away, and the opportunistic defense able to jump on it yet again.
Just in tackling, gets the hand on the ball, punches it out. When you don't expect the contact on the ball, it comes out easily.
6 fumbles, 5 of them lost by the UConn Huskies. And the pointer are starting to mount up. Little dump off underneath the Starks. Picks up about 3.
The bad news also for Andy Etzel's squad right now is you can see the frustration on this football team. You saw on the kickoff, they just muffed a second ago that led into 7 points. Players starting to fight with Buffalo players right now. Donald Brown puts the ball on the ground. You see the offensive linemen throwing their hands up in the air in disgust. Not a good sign if you're UConn.
Well, the frustrating aspect is you want to be on the field and get some continuity.
Willie's got two wideouts split to the right. And he hands it off. Starks gets down to the 35-yard line.
It's almost as if Buffalo's saying, all right, we're causing these turnovers. We're doing what we want that way. We're going to be conservative with the ball. We don't need to. They were able to run it in on a 4-yard drive to get the touchdown, and now just be safe, careful with the football. That's why on those third and long plays, they can dump it off and kick it away.
It puts so much stress on this UConn defense, not only with their backs to the wall, trying to limit the points in production from Buffalo, but you also look at it as well. And this is a tired UConn defense right now. They've been on the field almost this entire second quarter.
This is their 7th attempt at a third down conversion for Buffalo. They have yet to convert one, yet they lead the game by 10. Pocket collapses, and Willie goes down as Cody Brown bottles him up.
Okay, Cody Brown is a speed rusher guy. Great pass rush, comes off the edge, 10 sacks this season, picks that one up. But here's the difference between Connecticut and Buffalo. He went for the hit and made the sack. He very easily could have stripped that ball.
Look at this right now for Buffalo. 73 total offensive yards. They have yet to convert a third down, but here's the magic number right there. 20 points off of takeaways. That's all it takes.
I guarantee if that was a Buffalo player on the pass rush, that ball would have been on the ground because he had a perfect opportunity to maybe strip the ball rather than going for the big hit. He made great play, sack, beat his man, got to the quarterback. But think big play.
Play clock just ran out. Buffalo did that intentionally, no doubt. They want to get themselves maybe 5 more yards back for the punt. We'll have that when we come back. Buffalo leading 20-10. Welcome back to Toronto. Jasper Howard just fielded that punt. 31 yards. And he fielded, and he hung on to it.
To a little mock cheer by the UConn fans here.
You think Randy Edsall's heart was just beating, coming out of his chest almost right there in that punt.
What about Howard? Fielding that thing.
It's a victory for UConn. Now, this is a big drive for UConn. They have to take this down, score points, get some of the momentum back onto their sidelines in this game.
With 4:37 left in the first half, that would be huge if they can cut this lead down. And a big run up the middle by Donald Brown. Being chased down, but Brown just gets caught by the ankles by Josh Thomas.
That's their 2-minute offense, John, getting back in the game. Give it to Brown. Let him bust it open. Again, it's power O. It's power football. Double teams down. Guard comes around and kicks out. And north and south run.
Again, this has been working all first half for UConn, pulling the backside guard to get an extra blocker at the point of attack. Donald Brown able to hit it, but what about the speed by Josh Thomas? We've talked about how fast Donald Brown is. He just got walked.
Donald Brown approaching 200 yards on the game here in the first half. And this time the keeper, around the end goes Tyler Lorenzen, 13 yards. Talk about a quick strike.
Well, there's your passing game. There's what he does. He's the alternative. Pulls, great read, sticks it in the belly of the back, reads the outside defensive end or linebacker, pulls it. Now I got the corner, and I'm running with a football.
And that was a great fake, too. Does that look like Donald Brown was taking that ball?
That's Justin Winters chasing after the leading tackler and very quick, speedy type of guy.
Extra point by David Taggart is good. And just like that, a very calm bunch on the Connecticut sidelines. Found themselves down by 10. Now, just 3. But a moment moments ago was 2010. Donald Brown a long run, and then Tyler Lorenzen.
It's a great read here by Tyler Lorenzen. Watching Justin Winters. Donald Brown's going to run this way. You're going to see Winters bite on it. When that happens, Lorenzen knows to keep it and run it in for the touchdown. That's exactly what he does. He keys the right player. It's Justin Winters, and you see Justin Winters knew right away he had made a mistake. And good speed again by Tyler Lorenzen. How about a two-play scoring drive?
How about that to bounce back and come after it to cut it back down to 3? But Winters out there on the edge, he's their leading tackler. He's a speed kind of a guy, good quickness. And Lorenzen with the, quote, broken foot, whatever, screwing his foot to fix it, is 100%. He's running away from him, pulling into the end zone. So that's their change-up off their running attack.
Donald Brown now, 13 carries, 192 yards, and he's gone over 2,000 yards for the season. Buffalo has 73 yards. Donald Brown has 192. Ed Young fields the kickoff and gets stuffed at about the 23-yard line. Let's go down and check with David Amber.
Guys, it's a sense of calm down here. They're not panicking at all. This is a senior team with some senior leadership. Remember, this is their third bowl appearance in the last 5 years. After that last touchdown, the guys got together and said, we've turned it over so many times and we're down by 3 points. We've got them where we want them. So I guess they're feeling pretty good right now down here on the sidelines.
Well, it is one of those catch-22s. You feel great that you're only down by 3.
Problem. My earpiece stopped.
But you still got to figure out a way to stop turning the ball over. Handoff underneath the Starks. He gains only a yard.
You know, and again, monster possession here for the UConn defense, because coming off of a big score, a two-play score to get the momentum back, UConn's defense has been able to control Buffalo for the majority of this football game at the line of scrimmage up front. You're seeing them doing it here again. If they could get this football back with all their timeouts remaining for one final possession heading into halftime, that would be absolutely huge for UConn.
Exactly right. All 3 of their timeouts remaining. And if they get a hold here, they're going to get decent field position. Pass is low. Willie was intended for Brett Hamlin. It was off his shoe tops.
And so far in this game, Doug, to me, it hasn't looked like Drew Willie's been very comfortable back in the pocket. He hasn't shown a lot of accuracy, especially when he's been forced to push the football down the field.
I agree 100%. I was getting ready to say the same thing myself. He's been very, the times he's completing the ball has been 3rd and long like we have now, where he winds up dumping it off and getting a little completion. Almost had a couple balls picked. He's had opportunities to hit a few guys and missed the throw. So he's struggling a little bit.
And that's ironic, because in the last 7 games, Willie's completed 67% of his passes. Just has not been that efficient so far today.
Again, looking for their first 3rd down conversion. 0 for 7. Willie across the middle has wide open Naaman Roosevelt. Bagsby brings him down, but it's hard to believe that Naaman Roosevelt could find his way to be that open.
I think Jasper Howard made a little mistake in coverage here, turned him loose. He was playing a straight zone underneath, and everybody else appeared to be playing man-to-man underneath. So he turned a guy free.
And with that catch, Naaman Roosevelt now becomes the first Buffalo player ever to register 100 catches in a season.
So they get their first 3rd down conversion of the game. And it's huge, because even if they don't continue from here, that's seriously going to affect field position. Going deep, a lot of contact down there. Jasper Howard on the coverage. Let's check in with Dari Noka.
All right, guys, want to let you know what's coming up here at the break as soon as Buffalo and Connecticut go to halftime in Toronto. How about a look ahead to that Florida-Oklahoma game? You had Jesse all fired up about his beloved Florida Gators. Also, a look ahead to the Fiesta Bowl on Monday night, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Texas and Ohio State. Also, some big-time college hoops underway right now over on ESPN. We'll update all of that coming up at the half. Gentlemen?
Dari Noka and I can't talk right now because Dari went to Oklahoma. So the last couple of weeks, we just haven't been on speaking terms up in Bristol.
It's going to be a great title game. Hand off to Starks. Picks up just 2. before Robert McClain brings him down.
I'm surprised right now UConn not using a timeout. I think they would, because it's a big third down. Again, they can stop the clock, try to force another incompletion, or try to force a punt, get the football back with a chance to drive the field. Right now, allowing Buffalo just to bleed the clock.
I agree, but what is their 2-minute offense?
Two running plays like we just saw last time possession.
So you're running the football. You need those timeouts as well offensively, or you think maybe we don't. Let's just worry about stopping them here. Normally, I'd be calling all my timeouts wanting the ball back.
They converted on their last third down attempt, and that time, did they let the clock run out?
Prior to the snap, false start.
No, false start.
Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Well, when you're having problems converting third downs, it's not when they're
it's third and 12.
It's not. Well, now I just got to throw it 13 yards instead of 10.
You get in these situations with the way the coverage has been in long yardage. I'd throw some screens.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, run a draw, throw a screen, get the clock rolling. UConn's going to call a timeout, force them to do so, but something high percentage right here. Don't freeze the clock.
Yelly fires a strike that was on the mark, but a huge hit. Jesse Rack was the intended receiver. Robert McClain just laid him out, knocked the ball loose.
Well, Doug and I are both calling for a screen. Drew really disagrees and tries to thread the needle, and actually a very, very nice throw over the middle of the field to his tight end, Jesse Rack, but a better job of Robert McClain separating the football from the intended receiver.
But that's what tight ends are for. They're sacrificial lambs out there. Go down the field. You're a big body. I'm throwing it up. Go make a play for me and hang on tight. That's why you love tight ends.
Peter Farden, who we've seen earlier, has a long leg. This one filled by Howard. Howard breaks free. There's a flag on the field. Howard cuts it back across the 40 and down to the 35. But there's a flag near where the ball was fielded.
Don't be celebrating too much now. You've made some mistakes in this game. There's a heck of a return, great opportunity there. He doesn't see the flag, but, it was great job by him bouncing back, though.
But the nightmares continue on punt return right now for UConn. Certainly that you didn't fumble or muff the football, but that's almost just as bad.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 37 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, a year ago, Rutgers was here, and Ray Rice was trying to make up his mind whether or not he was going to enter the NFL draft. And he certainly put on a show. 35 carries for 280 yards. And Donald Brown facing a similar decision this year, the nation's leading rusher. And look at that. He's chasing after Ray Rice.
How about that? Go ahead, Justin.
14.8 is not a bad average.
You think? This is the showcase game for those that are considering to come out early as running backs out of the Big East. You come to the International Bowl.
That's right.
Because you're going to have a close to 300-yard day rushing.
It's after the New Year's Day Bowls and before the national championship game. Donald Brown probably going over 200 yards on that carry. Well, right to 199.
Yeah, he's having a rough day. He's not over 200 yet. See, this is their 2-minute offense.
He's had two 200-yard games so far this year. In fact, now in 11 of 13 games, Donald Brown has run for over 100 yards. He has been the offense for UConn this year.
Well, how about the fact the yards per carry? If they had the ball in the second quarter at all, he'd be approaching that 300-yard mark.
And you look at the body of the work so far, and a big long touchdown run to start here in the second quarter, a big stretch play to the left side, showing you the patience and then showing you the speed when he sees the hole open up. He's also had a lot of success running inside with a lot of bodies. Again, great job with the vision, great job with the patience. Of course, this time, he got walked.
But like you said, the patience is the difference. On the stretch play, you got to be patient, find that crease, and put his foot in the ground and go. But the play that's been getting it done for him is what we call power O. There's some double teams. The backside guard pulls around and kicks out, and it's usually a north-south run.
Shouldn't be surprised he got caught on that run. He's been running so much, he probably tuckered out. Takes it again, busted.
And it's funny, you think about the psychology of Randy Edsall's team right now. If you're UConn, sure, you're down 3 points, but considering all the turnovers you've had, to be only down 3 points right now, you got to feel pretty good about yourself going in.
You feel like you're up 3 points.
And on the flip side, what if you're Buffalo? I mean, because you got to be thinking, look, to stay in this game, do we have to continue generating these turnovers? Because we haven't been able to generate that much offense. And on defense, we've been getting gashed by this player right here, and Donald Brown running the football.
I'm a little surprised that Drew Willie hasn't been successful throwing the football. Talking to Danny Barrett about it, and his decision-making is excellent. The ball comes out in rhythm. He's got a great understanding of coverage and routes and getting rid of the football. And it just hasn't happened for him yet today. And they need that to get going so that even if it starts out of the backfield.
And again, it is one of the best pass defenses in college football. But, Doug, we mentioned it earlier as well. There have been open receivers down the field that Drew Willie has missed. And coming out in the second half now, he needs to just settle down, get back into the game plan, come out firing in the second half.
He starts Free Willie, and that's what Turner Gill hopes he'll be able to do in the second half. Donald Brown again.
Content to go into halftime here.
Justin Winters with the stop.
Come on, Jess. We got 38 seconds. Let's air it out.
That's what you and I would be thinking. We'd be out there looking for the 2 minute. We'd be lining guys up, looking for personnel shifts.
Is it one pass attempt for the entire half and 0 yards passing for UConn?
That's correct.
Tyler Lorenzen is 0 for 1.
0 for 1.
But he did run in a big touchdown.
Yes, he did.
He's been very effective on the ground so far in the half.
The minimum number of times they've thrown the ball in a game was 15. I think it was twice this year, once against Virginia, once against Syracuse. So he's on a record pace here, minimal throws.
What's amazing, how about Air Force beat Houston earlier in the year, 31-28, played them at a neutral site, did not attempt one pass.
I don't like it.
So you can do it, Doug.
Don't tell me you can win without throwing the ball. That's wrong.
You definitely don't want to hear that from those guys. Let's go down to the field and join David Ambra.
Coach, 5 turnovers, some problems on the special teams. What's happened for you?
Well, it's very obvious. You don't need my explanation for that. I mean, you have 5 turnovers. We let a ball hit us. The guy makes it 2. We have 2 judgment calls and bad judgments, and guys just panicking and not doing what they were supposed to. It's very simple. We have 2. We have the first pass we could have picked off and ran for a touchdown. We dropped another interception. We're fortunate it's only 2017. We get the ball to start the second half. We're just giving points away that we shouldn't be giving away.
What are you going to tell the guys now?
Well, we just got to keep our poise, and it's about playing with pride, and just if we execute, we're fine. If we don't make the turnovers, we're in good shape, but the turnovers will kill you every game.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck. John?
Well, David, despite the turnovers, it's just a 20-17 game. Right now, let's go to the studio and join Dari Noka with the Flomax halftime report.
John, thank you very much. It is remarkable. It's 20-17 Buffalo right now at the half, considering the 5 Connecticut turnovers. But what a show by Donald Brown, the junior tailback. Hasn't said if he's going pro or not. Over 200 rushing yards in the first half, maybe shattering some all-time bowl records in the second half. So we will keep you company till we take you back to Toronto. Ahead.
This is ESPN's presentation of Capital One Bowl Week.
John Saunders, Doug Flutie, and Jesse Palmer here in Toronto for the International Bowl. Up here in Canada, they say people are very nice, and they're giving. And apparently UConn has caught on to that spirit of giving.
Well, they're in the giving mood. There's no question about it. And 5 monster turnovers from UConn to Buffalo. And that's led to all 20 points for Buffalo so far. It started with special teams. There was a Tyler Lorenzen strip you see right here. Donald Brown would later fumble. There have been 2 muffed punt returns and a muff kickoff return as well. That's been the story so far in this game, guys.
But the fortunate thing for Connecticut is they're only down 3 points because their defense has played so well and shut down Drew Willie's passing attack. This game could be out of hand already, but it's not because of the Connecticut defense and Donald Brown running the football in this second half. Connecticut is actually in good position because they have dominated the first half other than all these miscues.
Donald Brown went over the 200-yard mark in the first half alone. And I dare say it's not inconceivable he could do it again.
Inconceivable?
Well, when you only throw the ball one time, you're gonna get it.
Well, if they could hold on to the ball, he'd have a lot more
He'd
carries.
have even more. Jordan Todman back, crosses the 10. Sees the seam and fights his way across the 30-yard line.
Donald Brown has averaged 13 yards a carry in the first half. It's a downhill running attack. On that particular one, he was patient on a stretch play, but most of them have been this power O where he's got a lead blocker or the guard pulling around, and up north and south, good strong legs, broke away a couple of times for long runs. He did get run down one time.
Yeah, but he's probably tired from all the other running. Well, and there he gets it again, the workhorse. This time he shows his speed getting to the outside. There's that famous stiff arm. But a good job by Devontae Shannon to haul him in.
Well, to help relay the dominance of Donald Brown, really, in that first half, just the yardage and the style and the way he's been able to run the football. You'll see the stiff arm right here. It's a bounce play designed to get to the outside. But give Devontae Shannon a lot of credit. He runs with him step for step. There's that famous stiff arm that a lot of those Buffalo players were very aware of. I went and talked to him on the field yesterday during the walkthrough. What do you think about Donald Brown? He looked at me and said, stiff arms.
Brown gets it again. He's got an opening. Cuts it up near the 40-yard line.
Shannon did do a great job of fighting through the stiff arm.
Sure did.
Didn't he? That's not an easy thing to do.
Well, here's Donald Brown, 207 yards in that first half, only 16 carries. Now, compare that to what Buffalo was able to generate offensively in that first half. They ran twice as many plays as Donald Brown had carries. They only had 94 yards of total offense. Donald Brown has doubled the offensive production of Buffalo's entire team in that first half.
The amazing thing about it is he's doing it with no passing attack either.
Takes the handoff again across the 40. Up near the 45-yard line, but it'd be a first down, 4 yards on the game.
When you don't have the threat of a pass game, a defense can zero in on the run, get an 8th guy or a 9th guy if they choose to get into the box and play run defense. And it just doesn't matter. The alternative right now for UConn is for Lorenzen to pull the ball, do the bootleg or the zone read stuff. But it is all Donald Brown. What's the record here? Ray Rice. Ray Rice last year, 280.
You got to go way back.
All the way back. This is a historic ball game. 3 years, baby. We've been here for every record, John.
Exactly. There's a handoff again to Brown, and then show that quick burst of speed to get out near the first down marker before Devontae Shannon hauls him down.
It's looking a little too easy here, Jess.
Yeah, that doesn't matter whether they're running inside or outside, but they're finding lanes. And again, Donald Brown showing you a lot of that patience. Just going to be a bounce play to the outside. Angles up front by the UConn offensive line. And this is just basically, we call that a boss play where the fullback is the back on the strong safety, getting up to that second level. And Donald Brown showing you again the vision and the ability to bounce it to the outside. Looks now, though, like maybe a little wear and tear on Donald Brown there on the sidelines, bending over in obvious pain.
Jordan Todman in at running back. Needs to get the yard or two, but again, he sees his hole and blasts through it. Devontae Shannon again with a tackle, but not before 7 yards are gained in the first down.
You know, and the bad news for Buffalo right now, we saw earlier a big injury to their free safety, Mike Newton, who Doug mentioned earlier was the second leading tackler on defense with 108 coming into the game. He's not back there in the secondary. He's a big presence. He's a headhunter, a guy that likes to play downhill. Not having him in the secondary really hurting Buffalo defensively.
Rodman again in the backfield. Lorenzen's going to pass for the second time in the day, or maybe not.
Just kidding. Come on, are you serious? It was actually a one-receiver route, John. He's not going to throw. That was just to keep people honest.
The referee got taken down on that play on the sidelines.
Well, UConn brings in Darius Butler. He's a cornerback that also plays a little bit of wide receiver on offense on that play. Looking for the big home run ball down the sidelines. But Tyler Lorenzen, it's not available, so he does a smart thing, tucks it, and makes his way to the sidelines. Ow.
The official that holds the marker, he saw he was going to get hit and tossed the marker, but still got rolled across the front of his shin or his ankle.
It amazes me that more people on the sidelines do not get hurt. There are so many people, especially come bowl season, at some of the BCS type bowls, the big, it's just packed, crowded. We were at the Rose Bowl, John, and it was like that. That these players come flying out at full speed.
Yeah, it's surprising it doesn't happen more often. David, how is he?
Pain right now. He's letting out a bad yell, and he's talking about his ankle. They're working on his ankle right now, but he's in a lot of pain. There's actually tears coming to his eyes, guys. This does look a little bit more serious.
Well, it's amazing also, Doug, you were talking about it earlier, just with teams nowadays near the sidelines, every team has a get-back coach. It's usually the strength and conditioning coach. It's one of those guys whose job is to keep all the players 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. These referees and other innocent bystanders, they don't have that luxury.
Well, that white part of the out of bounds right there, that is a no-man zone. No one is allowed in that area. The area behind that, this area here, is supposed to be for coaches, and the players are supposed to be behind that line. But everybody creeps up a line. The coaches go into the white, the players into the other zone, and the get-back coach is not a popular guy on the sideline.
Well, he's still down. And
I don't want to venture a guess, but...
no. We'll check it out, see if we can find out more, and we'll be right back to Toronto after this. Well, you can see the official now being wheeled off, so obviously something seriously problem with the ankle. And we've mentioned that this is just a historic game, and this is a statement from the governor of New York, David Patterson. The Bulls have received their first invitation to play in a bowl game since '58. The team will not only be playing for themselves and their fans, but for the courageous players of that 1958 team, many of whom will be on hand to see the game. On behalf of all New Yorkers, I congratulate University of Buffalo Athletic Director Ward Manuel, head coach Turner Gill, and every member of the team in their historic achievement. There would be no better way to cap this remarkable occasion than with a UB victory. So go blue and white. All of New York is behind you. And if you're joining us late, this is the coin toss and the 1958 Buffalo Bulls team on hand. They were invited to Buffalo's first ever bowl game. That was at Tangerine Bowl in 1958. They were set to go when they found out that Willie Evans and Mike Wilson, their two African-American teammates, would not be allowed to play in the game because of segregation. They voted not to go to the game, and thus are being honored here today. Donald Brown with a short pickup.
Great part about that story is the closeness and relationship that this team has to the 58 players and the respect that they have shown for them and keeping them a part of it, acknowledging the great sacrifice that they made years ago. And it's just a great story and a great thing to see.
I thought it was so special was yesterday we had a chance to watch Buffalo in their walkthrough. They took their team picture, and in that team picture they included the 1958 team. I thought that was a tremendous gesture by the university to show their support for the 1958 Buffalo team.
It's an absolutely great story. And here they are in their first bowl now. The run didn't go nowhere.
He wrapped up the ball that time. Just had two arms around it when he got in the crowd, tucked it away. They did attempt to pass again, though.
Well, if you're UConn right now, you're kicking a field goal or are you going for it? Looks like the field goal unit's coming out. They're going to punt it.
Run of the way, play field position. Your defense is playing great field goal.
It's a 52-yard field goal otherwise. Play the field position game because UConn's defense right now has been dominant up to this point.
Oh, they're down in at the one. A great job by Connecticut's special teams.
That is such a difficult play to catch that ball, find it in the air.
Robbie Fry was the one who comes up with it. The 1 yard line. That's where they'll start, 20-17.
Cover to one card.
ESPN College Football, the International Bowl, is brought to you by triple rewards of your choice at CapitalOne.com. What's in your wallet?
In New York in the winter, you go down with the kids to Rockefeller Center and you take a little ice skate in Toronto in the winter, you take the kids down to Nathan Phillips Square, which is right in front of the town hall. It's a great place to... Every now and again, a hockey game will break out. You're not supposed to bring sticks out there, but every now and again, somebody will sneak one on.
Every now and then, there's a fight. A hockey game breaks out. Is that what you were saying?
Inevitably, that's probably what happens. The shirt gets pulled over the head. John knows a little bit about that back in his day.
Oh, that's right. And the kid was only 10.
He had it coming.
Buffalo with a long field to work with. They just want to get off the goal line right now, so they call the keeper. And Willie punches it fourth. Let's check in with David Amber.
Hey, guys, I had a chance to talk to Turner Gill right before the third quarter started, and I said, what did you tell your team? He said, quite simply, we got to tackle better. We need to execute better. We need to hit our open receivers and play better offensively. I said, what about Donald Brown? He said, we got to tackle him. It's as simple as that. Keep our scheme, but execute better. Of course, they'll be executing without Mike Newton, who's listed as out now for the remainder of this game, guys.
Well, that's a big loss.
It's a really big loss. He was the MVP of the MAC championship game. I mean, that's how big he was to this football team, and they're going to have to do it without him.
Rolling now just across the 1-yard line. A handoff to Millis. Just picks up 1 yard. Turner Gill, of course, the surprising MAC champions this year, knocking off Ball State, who are unbeaten. But look what they've done under Turner Gill as far as scoring. 421 points this year, is school record. And we shouldn't be surprised from a guy who was a darn good quarterback at Nebraska. Just 1 of 9 on third down conversions. Oh, the toss is in the end zone, very nearly a safety. Was to Roosevelt, but he's brought down by Jasper Howard. Let's check in with Darinoka.
John, just keeping everybody abreast of what's going on the other ESPN networks. Kansas blowing out number 18 Tennessee at Allen Fieldhouse right now over on ESPN, while Notre Dame and St. John's in the early going in New York City. That's over on ESPNU. Back to the land of the Leafs, gentlemen.
Darinoka showing his hockey knowledge.
All right, is this an adventure, Jess? It's a punt.
Yeah, it is. Maybe Randy Edsall again. Heart is beating.
Jasper Howard, the only one back. He's just saying, well, what a great bounce it takes for Buffalo. Then he decides to pick it up. Everything's an adventure in the kicking game. When it comes to UConn, he was waving everybody off and then decides to pick it up himself.
Just wants to save a few yards, but it becomes an adventure, man. The ball's bouncing around. It's not round.
Not to mention, once you've waved everybody off, well, I imagine they stop blocking, too.
Yeah, they pretty much try to get out of the way. And then you're thinking he did touch the ball early there, so he had to go after it after the fact. But, geez, he's taking some risks, especially with the negative things that have happened to him. Once that thing hits the ground, get away.
Lorenzen with the handoff. Brown back in. Two of the best offenses take the field on ESPN Tuesday night in the second-to-last college football game of the season. It's Nate Davis, great quarterback, and the 22nd-ranked Ball State Cardinals take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. The GMAC Bowl on ESPN Tuesday at 8 Eastern.
It's an interesting game to watch. You talk about two great quarterbacks in Nate Davis of Ball State. David Johnson of Tulsa was leading the nation in passer efficiency heading into the Conference USA Championship game. Both of those guys struggled, though, in their conference title games.
Threw 5 interceptions in that game.
Todman is running back out of the backfield, who goes for a first down, stays on his feet, spins, and gets across the 30. No, they're going to say he is out at about the 37-yard line. But what a great run and spin after he broke free. 17-yard gain.
And Jordan Todman, only a true freshman, coming in to spell Donald Brown. Here's that boss play again. It's the fullback blocking outside on the strong safety, and great spin move to keep his balance. A very nice job coming in and spelling right now for UConn. It could become a two-headed monster in this backfield because the offensive line has been so dominant up front.
Donald Brown is back in. Donald Brown gets the handoff, weaves his way. It seems like sometimes, I mean, he is so quick. There's no no doubt about it, but it seems sometimes like he's just slowly falling. Well, there's a hole there.
It's maturity and patience. You know, you sit there and you read the block, you hide by, let the defensive player declare, or that offensive guard, give him time to come around and get in position so he can get his head in the right position, and you can make the proper cut.
That's the mark of a mature back, and Randy Edsall told us he now understands that not every play is necessarily a home run. The 4, 5, 6-yard gains are just as good.
There's one right there.
I mean, that was a slow motion run, wasn't it, John? He just followed his lead blocking. Just, you know, push the pile in front of you. Okay, I'll stay behind you guys for a little bit here and find this crease and get 10 yards. You know, I thought he was in great shape. He looks like he's breathing hard, Jess.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, you wonder right now if the physicality of this UConn offense and just their willingness to pound the football is starting to wear Buffalo down a little bit. Now, we've seen players go down with injuries. They're gassed. They're lining up play in, play out, knowing that they got to pin their ears back and take a loadful right in the mouth because UConn is just running it right at them.
Yeah, Randy Edsall talked about him, and it's just Donald Brown is in just such great shape. And the way he conditions himself after every practice, getting in the cold tubs and icing down, sneaking in the weight room over at the hotel on days off or mornings off. He can't keep him out of the weight room. So the guy is a workout-aholic, and he's a strength and conditioning major. So he is into it. He's in the best shape of his life. He loves carrying the ball. We talk about how many carries he's had on the season.
Well, you can compare him to a guy who had a pretty good rookie year and is going to the playoffs. Ray Rice with the Baltimore Ravens this year, over 500 yards on the ground. He had 280 in his coming out party here in the International Bowl last year. And Donald Brown closing in on that right now with 247.
All right, but does he have to do it in the next 9 carries to be even? Or if he gets the extra carries, do we count it?
What does he need now? He needs 34 yards to break it.
34 to break.
So that's 3 runs because he's averaging 10 yards a carry.
All right, but if he goes 9 without getting it, we may not give it to him.
Asterisk?
Oh, no.
I was going to say.
Ray Rice has 4 touchdowns, and he only has 1 so far.
You probably the guy who put the asterisk next to Roger Maris's home run record.
Yeah, what do you have, 2 extra games? How many extra games did he get?
8.
8. Forget it. Done.
That's Justin Winters.
Home runs.
That's Justin Winters being taken off the field right now. That's another big loss.
That's your leading tackler.
Yeah, so now we've already seen Mike Newton out of the game. If Justin Winters can't return, those are your 2 top tacklers, arguably your 2 best defensive players. When it comes to tackling and stopping the running game, that is a huge, huge loss for Buffalo.
Brown in the backfield again. Surprise, number 34 gets the ball and busts it up the middle. He's getting at least 4 yards every time he goes. I know his average is over 10, but...
So that's a positive for the defense there?
Well, I just think when you look at it right now, UConn just simply overpowering and just wearing this Buffalo defense down. They're just wearing them down up front. Every snap, you're seeing white jerseys blown off the football. There is no mystery right now what UConn's trying to do offensively.
And they're stacking them up in there defensively, and there's no stopping them because they haven't even attempted to throw the ball.
That's Todman. The freshman is quick. He has got some speed. Devontae Shannon brings him down, but he goes to that sideline and then cuts back so quick.
Well, and as a defense, I think it's the most disheartening thing possible when another team is just running it down your throat. You'll see here on the replay again, it's this outside stretch play with the fullback leading up. There's just no white bodies out there to make the play even close to the line of scrimmage.
You know, and there's no threat of pass. You know they're running the ball, and you can't stop it. That is demoralizing. You'd rather see one play 80 yards because you think you can fix that. But when it's a long drive.
Brown again. Thought he saw something to his left, and actually it looked like one of his own players may have brought him down. Josh Thomas. Get credit for the tackle, a 2-yard loss. The flag down.
Boy, you finally stop them, make a negative play, something to be encouraged by, and you're offside.
You wonder if Buffalo just trying to get anxious, try to get a jump start on the ball, maybe jumping the snap count a little bit, just trying to force some sort of penetration into that UConn backfield.
Offsides. Defense number 53. Half the distance. Remains first down.
You might try leaving
the game clock.
Leaving a wide receiver uncovered or something to entice him to throw the ball out there so we can come in and stop the run.
Well, it doesn't matter right now whether it's 8 or 9 people in the box. That was Jerry Housey, the defensive end out of Buffalo, just getting an early jump on the ball, trying to get penetration, just not working.
Lorenzen comes up under center. Donald Brown in the backfield again, and you can look for Donald Brown to get the handoff and get his usual customary pickup, as they have had no problem running the football down Buffalo on this run. There's Brown again. No. Fake to Brown, and then a little play action. The pass goes out. And a touchdown toss by Lorenzen. Just his 3rd touchdown toss of the day. This one goes to Steve Brous.
At some point in this football game, you knew because they were running the football so well, the play-action game would have to show itself. And a great time to call this play. Steve Brous able to sneak out the back door, wide open in the back of the end zone for the easy score.
It's the old power pass. It's exactly like the run play that's been successful all day, where you go down, double team, pull that guard around, and the fullback bluffs and goes to the flat. It looks exactly like the power run.
Taker's extra point is up and good. That is just the 5th touchdown pass of the season for the UConn Huskies.
Throwing the ball's overrated.
This from a quarterback? I know you don't mean that, believe it or not, but Lorenzen's on the mark. And UConn is on the lead here in Toronto. Well, today's game in part honors the Buffalo Bulls team of 1958. 24 of them are here, all wearing their jerseys that were handed out to them as they took a team photo with this year's team. This is a team from 1958, but they also did take an entire photo with the entire team from this year. And it's the story that we told earlier. They decided not to go to a bowl game because the 2 African-American players on their team, Willie Evans and Mike Wilson, would not have been allowed to play in the game. And we'll have more on that after we have the kickoff here, but it's an amazing story of inspiration and one that, quite frankly, I had never heard of. And I pride myself on following a lot of these types of stories. And Millis grabs it across the 20 and runs into a wall at the 25. For more on the 58 team, let's join David Amber.
All right, John, this is Willie Evans, the running back on that 58 team. Willie, what does it mean to you to have the Buffalo Bulls finally, 50 years later, get to that elusive bowl game?
Well, believe it or not, we're thinking along the lines of a successful year for our team and a wonderful experience that they're encountering with this postseason competition.
Watching what's going on the field today, what do you feel you missed out on 50 years ago?
Believe it or not, I don't feel that we've missed anything because we set out years ago to win games. And as a result of the hard work, we were able to accomplish that by ending up with an 8-1 season that year.
And the camaraderie, the 25 guys that have shown up here, can you talk a little bit about the relationship you guys have maintained through the years?
Well, to begin with, we met for 48 years.
Long run.
We meet on Friday night homecoming weekend, and we've done that for 48 years. It's been a pleasant experience. We meet to say hello, wish each other well, and move on.
Willie Evans, thank you so much, and congratulations for everything, getting your team back here, and what a great sacrifice you all made. John, back to you.
I mean, that's incredible in of itself. The fact 48 years
they've continued to get
they
together.
haven't missed 48 years.
Yeah, there's a bond that comes when you play on a team and the relationships you build and trust in one another. You don't see color, race, anything like that. It's your teammate.
Color is the color of the jersey. A tough run for Starks. Flag on the play as Starks is brought down.
But there's nothing else like it. The relationships that you build within a team, and it was a no-brainer for the guys to decide not to make that trip because they were part of their team, right, and were one.
And he wouldn't want to be the one guy who voted to go.
Offense, number 79.
It had to be unanimous.
I really would like to, I wanted to go to Florida and take a trip and, geez,
But no. What's amazing about it is in less than a month, we'll have a new president, Barack Obama, African-American. And you think about that, that's in my lifetime.
Milestones.
In my lifetime, blacks and whites couldn't play on the same field in the state of Florida. That's incredible.
Well, getting back to the game, again, we're in a 3rd and long situation, Jess, and Buffalo does have a good passing game, but they just can't get off the ground because of the down and distance situations.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 88, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And you can just see, I think, the confidence right now from UConn, particularly on defense. The momentum is now shifted back in their favor defensively. They feel that they're in control of this football game. Buffalo has not been able to establish very much on the ground. This defense feels like they can consistently get Buffalo into these 3rd and long situations. And now Buffalo beginning to shoot themselves in their own foot a little bit. Costly penalties that really make these 3rd downs tough to convert.
And they haven't been converting many anyway. Only one for the entire game. Willie sets his feet and throws the ball short. He's looking for Gary Rice. It bounces to him.
He throws the ball extremely well. He really does. He is not comfortable. He hasn't had the opportunity to get into a rhythm and put some drives together or consecutive pass plays, and the ball just not coming out. He bounces a short throw.
Punt of the game for Farden, averaging 45 yards per punt. Jasper Howard picks it up on the roll, weaves his way, and just about to midfield, 11 yards on the return on the 42-yard punt. Looking over the sidelines, Turner Gill did not seem concerned at all, and I think he realizes just how important this game is, not just to football fans at Buffalo, but the general community as well. The 58 team, when they got invited to a bowl game, were not allowed to have African-American players participate in it. So therefore, the whole team decided not to go and play in it. Turner Gill, meanwhile, one of the few African-American Division I football coaches, but I'll tell you what, he is a hot property right now. Todman with the carry. This little kid is slick and fast.
Well, that's 2 runs now we've seen from Jordan Todman where he's absolutely refused to go out of bounds. He gets to those sidelines and he does everything in his willpower to stay back inside, cut it back against the grain, and get physical.
Yeah, if he were an 8 or 10-year pro, he'd be stepping out of bounds here, no question about it. He's staying in bounds. He doesn't get too many opportunities to carry the ball. I'm going to get the most out of every carry I can, and this UConn offensive line is just making it happen.
Well, he's watching Donald Brown average 10 yards a carry, so he wants his fill.
I'm going to get a piece of that.
329 yards on the ground right now, and adding to that, Donald Brown. Look at Brown keep on his feet and fight for a few more yards. 5-yard gain.
So difficult to tackle. And can you see that lower leg strength that David Amber was talking about earlier? He said he squats over 600 pounds. Just very, very difficult to rack him up and get him to the ground. Doug, you mentioned it earlier. Strength and conditioning major. Randy Edsel said he's a cold tub freak. He goes in after every practice, after every game, and that's why he's been able to carry the football 339 times heading into the game.
All right, there's a few numbers going to go by the wayside before the end of the day right there. As long as he keeps carrying the football. I mean, that was a nice little side shuffle step, slipped away from 2 guys, still made a positive gain.
That 307 is not out of sight, folks, by any stretch of the imagination. Brown cuts through, maybe just gets it across the line of scrimmage.
And if it remains a tight ball game, he'll be able to carry the ball through to the end, which didn't happen last year for Ray Rice.
Right.
But Buffalo has come down to the last play of their game 6 times this year. They had a Hail Mary. They've gone to 4 overtimes. They had to recover some onside kicks. So they are never going to be out of a game, even if it goes to a 2-score contest, 3-score contest.
It almost seems like they like that type of game. Brown again, skips to his left. Oh, what a great tackle. Dominic Cook came up and just took the feet out from Donald Brown.
What's incredible to me is it's 3rd and 5, and UConn comes out lined up, 2 tight ends, fullback. There is absolutely no question. There is no threat of throwing the football, just challenging and daring Buffalo to make a play. They try the outside bounce play on the power, but a great job of Dominic Cook staying home, intelligently tackling Donald Brown low.
Because of the design of a power play with that guard coming around, the ball should stay north and south all the time. When you bounce, there's nothing out there.
42-yard attempt for Taggart. Somebody got a piece of that. And so UConn is going to come up, or rather Buffalo is going to come up empty.
And as dominant as UConn has been, it's still a 4-point game.
I think Devontae Shannon there got his hand up on that to tip it. I'll tell you what, the special teams coach from Buffalo might be getting promoted to a head job somewhere. They've been remarkable today. You see Devontae Shannon, you see the vertical here. Just got his right hand on that, it looked like.
How about the scheme there? A 2-man rush from Buffalo. Everyone else backed up so they could jump.
Did you see Devontae Shannon there on the bench, patting himself like, oh yeah, that was me that tipped that. People weren't sure on the sideline. He's taking credit for it, though.
Just make sure it was me. Put your camera on me. Willie across the middle. Great catch by Naaman Roosevelt. 14 yards on the game. Tomorrow night, ESPN delivers the second annual Under Armour All-American High School football game from Disney's Wide World of Sports Complex, presented by ESPNU at 8 Eastern on ESPN. 80 players from across the nation will take part in the All-Star football competition, spotlighting the nation's top high school seniors.
Drew Willie looked very comfortable on that pass. He looked like he had settled feet, delivered the football. That's encouraging.
Got him up to the 39-yard line. This time a little screen. UConn all over that as Roosevelt is brought down by Robert McClain immediately for a loss of 2.
Well, Brett Hamlin early in the game had a great block on one of those type of wide receiver screens. This one he fans on the block, and Naaman gets dropped for a loss. He needs to get turned loose. If Naaman can get in the open field, he can turn anything into a big play.
Third quarter's coming to an end. And UConn, who went to the locker room trailing by 3, has the only touchdown of the third quarter. And as a result, they have grabbed the lead, 24-20 for the Huskies.
ABC's Law.
Back here again at the International Bowl inside the Rogers Center in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The crowd in attendance today, 40,184. That's an International Bowl record now. Granted, it is only the third year, but you consider the fact that you started this bowl from scratch in a city that's outside of the United States, so therefore does not have a college football team in their town, at least none that plays U.S. college football. Pretty darn good. Bring out 40,000 people. I know a lot of them came across the border from Buffalo. That ball was up in the air for a while before finally dropping.
Yeah, a lot of the bowls this year have gone that way. It made it a regional game. You know, with the economy, what it is and all that. It just made perfect sense, especially this year. You know, for Buffalo to come up here and bring the fans they brought last night in the hotel, the UConn fans. It's not that far for either team to travel. Great showing, 40,000 plus. Fantastic atmosphere.
Another third down or third and long. 1 for 11. Drew Willie will try and break that. She spreads it out. Empty backfield. Quick strike across the middle, but it's not going to be good enough. Goes to Brett Hamlin.
Really, for UConn, defensively, they've been very dominant in both halves. It started in the first half. They had 2 opportunities to make some big interceptions, but even against the run, they've been very, very stout. They've been able to load the box. They've been able to push Buffalo back off the football, and the physicality, I think, has really worn down this Buffalo offense. It's been much of the same so far in the second half. In fact, Buffalo only had 110 yards of total offense coming into this fourth quarter.
Peter Farden kind of rolled out a little bit there and before punting it and getting a nice Bulls roll. Let's check in again with Dari Noka.
All right, John, thank you. Quickly check in with the game over on ESPN. Dave O'Brien, Jay Billis calling Kansas at home against Tennessee. Jayhawks have won 31 straight at Allen Fieldhouse, so they are rolling. The number 18 team in the land right there. You saw Sharon Collins, all Jayhawks, guys.
All right, thanks a lot. Kansas having to replace the bulk of their team from championship team a year ago.
Okay, guys, 10 points if you can guess what this play is going to be.
Donald Brown, power O to the right.
Oh, no! He gives to the fullback. Up front to Anthony Sherman.
You're seeing the wrinkles right now in the UConn offense, using that Donald Brown ability to get other guys involved.
Setting me up like that, Jesse. Atta boy. And there is some diversity in this offense.
But, you know, it really shouldn't have come as a surprise to any of us anyway. We talked to Randy Edsall before the game. We had a chance to talk to Tyler Lorenzen yesterday and said, so what's the game plan? They both immediately looked at us and said, oh, Donald Brown, a lot. Force feed him.
Todman in the backfield.
Look at the defense. Everybody in the box. Everybody up there to try to stop the run.
And Todman this time doesn't get a chance to show his speed by cutting outside. Mike Thompson cuts him down for a 1-yard loss.
All right, is Lorenzen getting excited here? It's 3rd and long. Maybe I can throw the ball.
He's been efficient so far. He's 1 for 2 for 4 yards and a touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's
when he's throwing the football.
50% of his passes are touchdowns.
Pretty good. Here's the amazing thing, I think. When you watch UConn break this huddle, it'll be interesting to see what kind of formation. It's a passing formation or a regular set. Look, it's right here. Getting into finally a passing formation, overloading up down here at the bottom of your screen.
Spread it out to the left. Oh, Lorenzen lost the snap for a moment. Goes across the middle. Straight through the hands of Kashif Moore. Dominic Cook was there on the coverage.
Well, Tyler Lorenzen has struggled at times throwing the football this year, and one thing that we've seen on tape oftentimes is Tyler Lorenzen will often miss receivers high. The ball tends to sail on him when it comes out of his hands sometimes, and that's been a big reason why he's been so inaccurate this year.
Yeah, Moore was open on the play. That's a ball you need to complete. And the ball is sailing on him. It just sails. I don't know if it's his foot or what.
Desi Cullen with the punt. Brett Hamlin is back and has to go back over his shoulder to get it. Turns, picks up a block, cuts back again, and gets out to about the 37-yard line. 54-yard punt and a 7-yard return. UConn trying to hold off.
We have a media timeout.
Let's take a look back at today's Harley-Davidson clutch moment. We'll look back to the 2008 MAC championship game. Buffalo Bulls down by 3. Josh Thomas dislodges the ball from Nate Davis. Mike Newton picks it up and goes 92 yards for a Bulls touchdown, sparking Buffalo to its first conference title. That's today's Harley-Davidson clutch moment in their first bowl as well.
Boy, just before that play, Ball State thought they were in the end zone on review. Probably were in the end zone.
Yes.
And could have gone up by 10 there. Instead, they're down by 4, and it was a different ball game from there on out.
Buffalo trying to muster up something they haven't been able to do this entire game. That's a little bit of offense. Willie rolling to his left. Here's the play you're talking about. About 6 minutes on the clock on the 9-yard line. Lewis in for the touchdown, right? Gets the pylon. Watch the left foot go.
And the ball is reached out in front, so he should have, I thought, he crossed the plane and got in the end zone. Evidently not. Then Thomas comes up with a big hit. Newton scoops it up.
I was going to say, at the same time, you got to give Buffalo a lot of credit. They forced 4 Nate Davis fumbles and pick him off once.
And the same thing continues tonight. Turnovers. They have a nap.
Willie across the middle. That's his big target, Jesse Rack. It's a great name for a tight end.
Well, that's Buffalo's second third down conversion of the game. How about that? The dominance of UConn's defense all game long, and now that's only the second time Buffalo has been able to convert and move the chains.
You know, recently, though, Willie's looking a little more comfortable in the way he's stepping into throws. And by the way, Rack, wouldn't that be the yards run after catch? Yeah, that would be perfect for the wideouts.
If you take away the K, I think.
Sure. Run after catch kid.
Buffalo again, finally finding some success. And again, Willie's going to pass. Drops it off. Little screen out to Starks. And he's brought down short of the line of scrimmage.
It looks like James Starks there was trying to cut the ball back, ran right into his right guard, Jeff Niedermeyer. But again, you see the speed and athleticism on defense from UConn right now. I like the play call from Buffalo. And one thing I think they have done a good job of so far in this game, they've been very multiple. They're not lining up in the same formation every play. They're trying to show UConn different looks to confuse them. But I think the difference has been the speed and athleticism on the defensive side for UConn that's made the difference so far.
Willie out of the shotgun. Looks, pumps once. Now looks like he has to run it. Tries to dump it off. That'll be incomplete. Try to dump it to Starks, who's in his vicinity. Got to ask you guys, as I was watching the MAC championship game, I noticed that they had a lot of success, Buffalo did, with Starks coming out of the backfield and slanting right across the middle with a quick hit and picking up yardage after that. Why have they not been able to do that?
Well, I think they've tried to get him on the perimeter at times. They haven't done it lining him up as a wide receiver necessarily. They've lined him up in the slot. They've thrown him some swing passes. They've tried to throw him some screens to get him situated and isolated one-on-one with defenders. But UConn has just done a great job tackling.
And yeah, sure tackling, especially on the third and long plays.
Well, third and long again, and they've seen plenty of this. Not much success. Well, Willie dumps it to Starks, and Starks is just too much to ask as Darius Butler brings him down.
You know, he's trying to look downfield. He can't find anything. It's a long yardage situation. UConn back there, forcing him to eventually dump it off. Willie pays the price here, just trying to buy time and get something done, and he takes a shot.
Well, UConn's going to give this to you all day, and James Starks is the outlet receiver right there on the check down throw. But again, this is like playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers those years ago when they won the Super Bowl in the NFL. They play that big Tampa 2 defense. They let you have everything up front. They just swarm to the football and tackle well. That's what UConn's done tonight.
Farden. His punt reaches the 15-yard line where Jasper Howard grabs it. Spins across the 30, up near the 40-yard line. 39-yard punt, 18 on the return. Donald Brown closing in on at least 3 records. We'll take a look and see if he can get there when we return. Back here at the International Bowl, where it's been a story of 2 sides, and one has been the turnovers that Connecticut has allowed Buffalo to stay in the game. The other side has been Donald Brown, who has been running all over the Buffaloes.
It's been outside, it's been inside so far in this football game. Donald Brown has been spearheading the offensive charge for UConn. It's been powerful running. He's shown great patience, great vision, great speed. He showed you the total combination and the skills he has in this football game so far. And Buffalo just has not had an answer for him.
No, not at all. They've put everybody up in the box to try to shut him down, but UConn has been way too physical. And Donald Brown at 256, 277 is the UConn record. 307 is a bowl record. 280 is the International Bowl record. So all those are in sight.
Gotta get that down this drive.
Whoops.
Unless that doesn't happen.
Lorenzen throws it.
Things have gone too well lately.
Matt Ryan does that stuff like that. He likes to toss the ball around to himself before he throws it.
Well, guys, in the big picture, this is what's wild to me in this game so far is that while this is only a 4-point game, it seems as though UConn is blowing this thing out. You see Tyler Lorenzen there struggling with the center quarterback exchange. It's a 4-point game.
Absolutely.
It's a very good game right now, but it feels like UConn is just dominating because in the second half, they just haven't gotten in their own way.
335 yards to 120 for Buffalo. But it's a 4-point game.
Lorenzen completes a pass.
Limping around a little bit on that foot, Jess.
Well, it's Darius Butler, who just came in the football game. He was a cornerback, was supposed to play a little bit in the secondary, but earlier in the year, he played wide receiver as well. He caught a touchdown pass earlier in the year against Louisville, ran for one against Virginia. We had a good chance to talk to him yesterday, didn't we?
Yes,
the only guy that can cover him is him.
That's right.
But if he has a good quarterback, he may not be able to.
We asked him who could cover him if he played wide receiver, and he said, only me.
We also asked him if he would have any problem
shutting down Naaman Roosevelt.
Naaman Roosevelt, and
no.
It wasn't even like, oh, he's a tough player, and it's going to be
not a problem. Not a problem. Got it.
Well, Tyler Lorenzen right now having a lot of problems right here on the center quarterback exchanges. That's twice now in a couple plays. He has not been able to get the football out from under center, and you can see Donald Brown thinking, man, you're taking away yards.
That's the only way Buffalo's going to stop them, and the only way they're going to win the game is to create another turnover.
Second and long. Lorenzen completes that to Anthony Sherman. Callahan is there with the tackle after the 11-yard pickup.
Sherman is amazing. He's their fullback. He's a lead blocker, ISO fullback, up on linebackers. He catches the ball and runs routes like a tight end. They motion him all the way out wide. He runs a nice hitch route, and your quarterback sticks it in your fullback's chest. He's not a converted tight end. He is a fullback that can catch the ball and run routes like a tight end.
But a nice place to put that football if you're Tyler Lorenzen. They always say when you're throwing it to running backs, hit him right in the numbers with it. Don't make him stretch out. Very nice and accurately delivered football from Tyler Lorenzen.
Third down and a long two. 3 of 8 on third down conversions. They just have to get the short yardage. They do. Kashif Moore with the reception and good yards after the catch as well. 17.
Just a great job by Lorenzen to stand in there firm, had an unblocked rusher right in his face, saw his receiver, delivered the ball, and took the hit. Very nice job.
Well, and UConn right now able to take advantage of Buffalo starting to stack that box, anticipating a run on third and short. But remember, guys, on this drive, 2 fumbled exchanges. UConn still wants to run the football, as they should.
And there goes Lorenzen on the keeper. Ronald Hilaire.
Right, we start talking about records in sight, and then Donald Brown can't get his hands on the ball. Lorenzen's making some plays for him. Nice completions, tuck it under and run. That's your changeup, the zone read stuff where you're pulling it and running.
And again, you know, he's been active in this football game running the ball as well. He hasn't thrown it very often, but he has run it 11 times now in this football game. Donald Brown now out, getting a breather. Jordan Todman, true freshman, lining up behind center.
Gets the handoff and shows again the quick speed, cutting it back for a 6-yard gain.
Jordan Todman's been very impressive to me watching him in this game. And we talk about Donald Brown, whether or not he's going to stay, whether or not he's going to come back or go and declare himself for the National Football League. This UConn team might not be in awful shape if he does decide to leave with a very talented true freshman in Jordan Todman.
7 carries for 62 yards for Todman. He's got a quick burst when the hole is there. Quick cutback.
By the way, he's a Massachusetts boy, Johnny.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. New England area kid. They can play football, too.
Well, we get a few Canadians in this game as well. There's Donald Brown. Takes the pitch one way and goes the other. And gets it down to about the 15-yard line. 5 yards on that game as he continues to gain on the record books.
Watching himself on the replay on the Jumbotron. You always know a guy's relaxed when he's doing that.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think Donald Brown is aware of the records out in front of him right now, or is he just playing football?
He knows he's having a good day, but I don't think he's worried about records or anything like that. He wants to win a football game.
2:61 right now. UConn has not scored a fourth-quarter touchdown in the previous 4 games this year. Lorenzen rolls out to his left, tucks it in. He's going to keep it inside the 10, across the 5. Touchdown!
This is a designed run from the beginning for Tyler Lorenzen, doing a great job. You see everybody biting on Donald Brown. That allows Tyler Lorenzen to get to the outside, and a nice job by the fullback, Anthony Sherman, peeling back just to get a piece of the defender to allow Tyler Lorenzen in untouched.
Absolutely. It looked like a naked bootleg where you might have a pass option. It was not. It was a run all the way, and nice patience by Lorenzen.
9 plays, 68 yards, just under 5 minutes on the drive. Extra point by Taggart is good. Randy Edsall, whose team couldn't do anything right for much of the first half, right now can't do much wrong. As Tyler Lorenzen, their quarterback, runs this one in for a touchdown and a 31-20 lead.
Your teams. ESPN College Football, the International Bowl, is brought to you by NCAA Football, crossing the border for today's game.
Is that a great looking city or what? Right off the coast of Lake Ontario.
Beauty, eh?
The McKenzie brothers would be here in spirit. You can see the struggles in the second half for Buffalo, despite the fact they scored 17 consecutive points in the first half, but they were all off turnovers. UConn has scored the last 14. And for Buffalo, it's been punt, punt, punt.
Well, that's really the story. I mean, if UConn can just stay out of their way, they've been completely dominant offensively and defensively. It's been those turnovers on special teams in particular that have really kept Buffalo in this football game. Now the challenge on Buffalo, down 11. You got to start generating offense, open it up, start pitching it around, get back in it.
Taggart launches this one inside the 5 where Mario Henry fields it. And he has an opening, but a flag goes flying across as he comes out to the 40-yard line. Matter of fact, there's 3 flags down, so
take your pick.
Somebody was not getting away with something.
And that was exactly the return that Buffalo needed to set up this drive, to go down the field and score and get back in this game. Now illegal block in the back.
Old-time hockey, eh?
Yep. Putting on the foil, coach.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 47 of the receiving team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
They're down 2 scores. They're going to have to get away from the old-time hockey, start airing it out and throw the football.
2 of the best offenses take the field on ESPN Tuesday night in the second-to-last college football game of the season as Nate Davis and the 22nd-ranked Ball State Cardinals. Only 1 loss on the year. That was to these Buffalo Bulls. Take on Tulsa in the Golden Hurricane. The GMAC Bowl on ESPN Tuesday at 8 Eastern. Second-last. What's the last game of the season?
It's a big one.
Probably doesn't mean much.
Willie looking deep. Oh, and he's got his man. Cross the middle. Willie with a perfect strike to Brett Hamlin.
You don't throw it any better than this. Running down the middle of the field. He's got man-to-man underneath coverage, and he's got 2 deep behind it. Had to make the perfect throw, Jess.
It's just a great job by Drew Willie, just reading the middle of the football field. Brett Hamlin able to just split the defenders, able to get behind the linebacker. That's the only place that Drew Willie could have placed that football for the completion. Very confident throw.
UConn very nearly offside, and there goes the flag. Across the middle again.
Here's what we were
Roosevelt.
And finally, Buffalo right now able to take advantage of these big zones from UConn. We've been watching it all day. Doug, you mentioned it earlier. They've been playing what we call cover 2 with 2 deep safeties.
Offsides, defense number 9. That penalty is declined.
The difference is this is first down. And if they back off, you can dump it and get 5 or 6 yards. So they can't be as soft because it's not 3rd and long situation. It's 1st and 10. So now they got to honor the underneath stuff, and boom, down the field, guys are open.
Willie stays out in the shotgun, steps up, thinks about running, and dumps it It's off to the sidelines where Hamlin, sure hands, is waiting there for a nice gain of 6 yards.
Well, you look at UConn, what they're doing defensively right now, it's almost a prevent defense. It's kind of a cover 2 look. There's 2 deep safeties, but there's also a center fielder back there as well. They're not going to give up any big plays to Buffalo right now. Allow them a quick strike. They're going to have to earn it throwing underneath.
Really, again, overlooking for Hamlin. This one off his fingertips. Lawrence Wilson right all over his back.
It's a nice job by Wilson because he had no outside help at all in that coverage. He was one-on-one with a wide out inside and had to make a perfect throw. Maybe Willie could have stuck that in there, but it would have had to been perfect. I really like the rhythm that Willie's showing right now, and UConn may be playing just a little too soft. This has happened pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, you know, third and a very makeable 4. All the timeouts left for Buffalo right now. They're nowhere near out of this game.
A little pitch underneath. First down, James Starks.
Love the play call from Turner Gill here. Love the play call. It's basically an extension of a draw play. A nice job of Drew Willie just using his eyes and selling to get the defensive end up the field for the shovel pass. And you see again the explosiveness of James Starks, his ability to work inside. Very shifty. Now the chains move again. Buffalo knocking on the door.
Pre-snap, Peter Bittner, the left guard, he was a little deep in his stance, and you knew he was pulling. It was going to be something going to the right.
First and goal now for Buffalo. Willie this time hands it off for Starks. He gets inside the 5-yard line.
Now with 3 minutes to go, you're looking at a score of 31-20. So a touchdown here, you're looking at a potential 2-point conversion to try to get it down to 3.
Don't bring up the 2-point
No
conversion.
2 points.
When it comes to Turner Gill.
He doesn't like that. We told you he's scarred for life because of that Nebraska game against Miami where they dropped the 2-point conversion. So he will never go for 2. So he goes to overtime all the time.
He's gone to overtime 4 times this year. Buffalo's played more overtime games than any other football bowl subdivision team.
A little sense of urgency here. Just pick up the pace.
Willie, strike, but it's dropped. Roosevelt had it in his hands, but had it knocked away at the last second.
They did waste a little time there, huddled up, took their time a little over the ball. Every second is precious because you do need 2 scores, but they're great. They've been great. They got a history with onside kicks and getting down to the last play of games.
See, coming into this game on 3rd down, 46%, 21st best in the country. Today, though, that has just not been the case. They've only converted 2 of 14 in the game so far. This, without question, the biggest of the game for them.
Willie, 2-step drop, throws the strike. No, picked off. Roosevelt thought he had it. Belliston is going to take it to the end zone for the touchdown. There is a flag on the field
for
the 30-yard line.
Naaman Roosevelt had an opportunity to catch this ball, has it bounce off his chest, up in the air, intercept it, run back the other way. It was a great throw, I thought, and a great opportunity to get a touchdown.
Well, let's see if the call...
That is unbelievably remarkable because I talked to Drew Willie yesterday and said you and Roosevelt have you do such a good job communicating these back shoulder throws.
The touchdown is good. After the play, personal foul on both teams. Those penalties were canceled. We will run the try.
The original coverage was a double coverage. He had help from a safety coming over, but Roosevelt does a great job of kind of pushing off and getting a window of opportunity. Ball bounces out, up into the air. That was Howard that got a hand in there and knocked it loose and kept it alive.
It's a ball that should have been caught from Naaman Roosevelt. As a quarterback, if you had your druthers, though, throwing those back shoulder throws, you have to put it to the sideline shoulder. And that ball looked like it was thrown a little bit more inside, which I think helped the defense collapse, pop that ball up in the air, and give Dana Delliston a ton of credit for taking it the distance.
He had to go into the weave a little bit there. It wasn't a pure speed run back now, Jess.
Yeah. Well, he had Drew Willie to contend with as well.
Interception return for touchdown.
But it's amazing because I'm talking to Drew Willie yesterday and saying, you go back, you watch the MAC championship game, a lot of back shoulder throws between Drew Willie and Naaman Roosevelt.
Has called a timeout to challenge the ruling on the field of a completed pass, an interception, and return.
I was going to say this about 45 seconds ago, and then I stopped myself, but I should have been a genius and gone ahead and said,
because you don't trust yourself.
No, after he makes the interception, does he step out of bounds? Was my question. Right there.
Ooh, that's close.
The heel's up in the air. We need a better angle. I don't think you can overturn it from that angle.
It's got to be conclusive to overturn this. The call on the field was that he was in bounds. This might be a better angle here. Just look at the right foot right here.
That was the angle, too. Oh.
Well, judging based on that, if the referees are watching these angles, then this call is going to stay.
Yeah, you can't overturn it from those angles. The first one, it appears like his heel is over the out-of-bounds line.
Right.
But is it
touching it?
I don't know.
That's great analysis.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, definite. You can tell from there. There you go. Right there. All right, great. There we go. Okay, what do you think,
it's true,
John?
On the earlier look, it looks like the balls of his feet are in. The front side of the foot. You just can't see whether or not that heel.
Oh,
wow.
Nelly.
But from there, that looks like that's into me.
Hey, that ref is eyeing that up, too. Okay, I abstain. I'm not making a call.
Well, I think he's in. I think he's in bounds.
I think they're going to leave it as is.
I'm judging it by looking at that referee right there.
Confirmed. It is a touchdown. Buffalo is charged a timeout. It is a 30-second timeout.
But the crime of it is they had an opportunity for a touchdown there to make it a one-score
That's the irony to me. It's something that Drew Willie and Naaman Roosevelt have done so well all year long, communicating those back shoulder throws, sitting down in zones. Danny Barrett, their quarterback coach, has helped them with those throws, and it bites them. They're not able to capitalize and convert. And UConn able to turn it into 7 monster points.
You know, the ball hit him in the chest, but Jasper Howard did get a hand in there to tip it to the air, which it gave time enough to get intercepted.
So Taggart for the extra point. Pretty much put this one out of reach. 21 straight points for UConn. And you can see the senior, Tyler Lorenzen, saying, I wanted to go out a winner, and it looks like I will. If you've never been here to Skydome, they actually have hotel rooms that look out on the playing surface. You can watch baseball and football games. So that was a look at Donald Brown, Sr., and Donald Brown's younger sister, Leah. And Donald Brown's Senior's better half is standing by with our David Amber.
John, Lisa Brown, Donald's mother, the proudest mom here right now. What's this been like for you this season, watching your son lead the nation in rushing yards and now what he's doing today?
It's kind of been a dream, and I don't think it's sunk into any of our family. You know, it's I can't even describe it. It hasn't sunk in yet to any of us, I don't think. It's a lot of fun to watch, and he's worked really hard to get where he is, and we're just really proud of him.
Now, he's just 4 courses away from graduating at UConn, but you have a decision to make before January 15th. He says he's going to talk to Coach Edsel, his high school coach, and his parents. What are you going to tell him about the next step, the NFL?
Well, we met with Coach Edsel yesterday, and he gave Donald very kind words, and he told Donald that he has to make a decision with his heart and his head, and we all agreed on that. He knows that graduation is important to all of us. So
now everyone listens to Mom, so what are you going to tell him?
Donald has to do it for himself, and he has to live with the decision that he makes.
Well, good words, and you've been a very good mom, so congratulations to you guys.
A lot of factor into that consideration when you think about it. Again, Donald Brown heading into the game, leading the nation in rushing yards. He has said he wants to win an Orange Bowl. That's a goal of his, so he did hint that maybe he'd want to come back and play again at the same time. How much more is there for him to accomplish? He's losing his all-conference left tackle. He's losing a starting center. You think about guys like Sean Green coming out as well. Maybe no Sean Marino. You have to look at who else is coming out, too.
Said he wants to win an Orange Bowl, but He might change it to I want to win in the Orange Bowl.
You know what?
Which he can do on Sundays.
Especially being a running back, careers are short. So if you have, with the amount of times he carries the football this season, in this game, that track record, that one extra year of playing ball at the NFL level, it's a lot of money.
Well, that's a good point you make. We talked about that with Ray Rice last year, all the carries he had, whether or not that's a factor in his decision-making. Donald Brown, 339 this year.
Starks is cut down immediately.
Yeah, Randy Edsel was talking about the way their schedule set up this year. They did have some bye weeks, which kept him fresh all year long.
Well, guys, time now for the Capital One Player of the Game, presented by Capital One. And any idea who it might be?
Shocker.
What do you think?
261 yards on the ground will do that for you. Just a phenomenal finish to this season for Donald Brown.
He didn't even carry the ball 30 times.
Willie's pass goes near no one.
And again, you look back on the body of work for Donald Brown today, just been terrific. We knew coming into the game that he was going to get force-fed the football, and he made Buffalo pay very early on, running inside, running outside. I think he showed all of us today, the total package that he possesses at that position.
Absolutely. And the amazing part of this, it's done without a passing attack. They know you're going to run the football. You're going up against a stacked box in the middle there. You have unblocked people all over the place. He's patient. He's north-south. He showed everything. The quick burst, the power. We didn't see a great stiff arm today, though.
A couple of short ones. That pass is complete by Willie to Jackson.
I think in the same token, we have to give a lot of credit to UConn's defense in this football game, holding an offense that was averaging 381 yards a game, well below that total. Only allowed them to convert 3 third downs over the entirety of the football game, so an outstanding job by Randy Edsel's defense.
Coupled with all the turnovers.
And now a sack. Kind of the exclamation point. Marcus Campbell gets into the backfield and finds Willie.
All the turnovers that could have relayed into a ton of points were not, kept them in the ball game. It was 2017 at half, 5 first half turnovers.
UConn showed great composure because a lot of teams, after turning it over 5 times in that first half, may have started to panic a little bit. They went into the locker room at halftime down to the MAC champion Buffalo Bulls, but great job by Randy Edsel getting his team ready to come back out in the second half, come out and get the win.
Willie with 2 UConn Huskies in his face underneath the Starks. Starks gets to the sideline.
Now we got to be heads up for the Gatorade. Now this has to be done properly. You got to get the Gatorade out. There you go.
Randy, you know what? Randy looked like he knew it was coming. So he just got in the crunch stance.
Got in the fetal position there. He didn't try to run away from that.
But it's safe that way. When you're standing up straight, those guys hit you in the head with the bucket a lot of times. It was a safe job.
Who knocked out the coach? Coach, shuffle pass to Starks. That's going to do it. Well, UConn owned the Rogers Center. Owns. Congratulations between the 2 coaches. A great season for Buffalo. Just the same with a MAC championship. And UConn, which struggled down the stretch, losing 5 of their last 7, to come away with an International Bowl victory.
Well, it just might have been the wettest Gatorade dunking in history because of the position of everyone, but great job by UConn, bouncing back. They struggled at the end of the year, like you said. They bounced back for this bowl game. Buffalo, just a phenomenal year, getting to their first bowl. The job, Turner Gill, what a future he has in college football.
There's no question about it. Both of these programs on the rise, and Buffalo under Turner Gill reaching its first ever bowl game. On the flip side, UConn playing in its 2nd consecutive bowl game. Both of these programs climbing up. Great football game, great conclusion to the 2008 season for both of these programs.
And one more time down to the field with David Amber.
All right, Donald Brown, if you were trying to make a statement for NFL scouts and GMs, mission accomplished here on an international stage. Talk about your performance today. Why was it looking so easy for you out there?
Oh, the offensive line did a great job, especially on that long run. I mean, I don't even think I was touched. They did a phenomenal job today.
As far as the turnovers in the first half, what did your coach say at the end of the first half to get the game going in the right direction?
You know, we just kept shooting ourselves in the foot. We needed just to relax, you know, start playing our game, and we did that in the second half.
I want to give you time to celebrate this, but you only got about 12 days to decide if you're going to go to the NFL draft or not.
I'm going to go celebrate with my teammates right now. I appreciate it, though. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations, Donald Brown. Great game for you again.
Well, he could have said he was going to Disney World, you know.
Way to avoid. Good job. Maturity.
Great choice. You can go to the NFL, become a millionaire, or come back and have another great year of college experience, guys. Quite a game. 38-20. And there's Donald Sr., a happy man right now as his son goes out with a personal best on the field. Our final score, 38-20. This a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Doug Flutie, Jesse Palmer, David Amber, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm John Saunders. Goodbye from Toronto.
For today's